Hey, Don here. Okay, back with another live stream. I'm let's see. Let me check. Well, I'll be distracted until I check my stream. So, and it's actually yellow right now, but it's been doing that almost every time now. So, I've got to where I'll just leave it alone and hope for the best. Let it play. Sometimes it usually straightens up. It used to never start like that, but. And also I do have my backup videos that I can't upload. I just don't like to have to do that. So anyway, I'm back with another live stream after several days. I think all in all I've spent a week, 5 to 7 days shopping, and so that's what I've been up to most of the time. I didn't work on my Net Pro Max or Mom's Machine or anything during this time. Kind of back and forth. But since day before Black Friday, I spent like 3 days shopping, and I got myself some stuff. Well, I showed some videos of that. I got my 8 terabyte drive and my switch, my Ethernet switch, and I showed videos of those. And then I realized after a few more days, I went back, tried to go back to do some more work on the computers, and then I realized it's time to do my shopping, or else I ain't going to get it ordered in time to get here before Christmas. So I went back to doing that, and I tried to keep it simple, but I couldn't. I had to do lots of research, and so when I experienced some odd things, things that were a bit worrisome, actually. Now my stream's good finally, but my replay is reloading. I'll reload it again and see if it's going to be all right. But I'm fixing to show you once this all gets back to normal. I left that machine just sitting there waiting for me to start streaming forever because I was trying to fix my syncing and everything. I think maybe I've gotten it a little better. What I finally decided is that playing my music, well, I took the audio, what I was trying to do, audio delays, I took them all out, and that makes everything, it seems like, OBS obviously somehow, I don't know how it does it, but it tries to sync the audio and video itself automatically between the cameras and your desktop and all that. And me trying to fix the audio, when I would get done, I'd spend hours and hours trying to sync the audio and video on my wireless Cam 3 mic, which is, well, it can stream. It's phones. I'm using phones. So in OBS, I don't know why I'm going into this. I'll quickly get through. In OBS, you go to the desktop. I'm going to go there in a minute anyway. In OBS, okay, now here's right here. Audio Cam 3 goes to the desktop. Each one of my scenes, and I won't go through them all. You wouldn't see them once I switched to them, But each one of my scenes has all these different audio, and you always have the mic aux. This one down here that you can see. I'm talking on the SM58. And then I have my lapel mic plugged into what I call my camera 3. I have them numbered 1, 2, 3, and it goes to when I want to use the lapel mic, and then I switch over. Keyboard shortcut.
I have a keyboard shortcut. Now that's both of them.
And then I mute the SM58, and now I'm just on the wireless, and I can move around and everything. That was the one I set the delay on to try to
sync better,
make it sync better, because sometimes they get. But it changes all the time. It gets better and worse, and it had gotten really bad and stayed bad. So I thought, well, my fix must have made it worse. Maybe the day I fixed it. The problem is the speed of my Wi-Fi. Everybody's Wi-Fi. I figured that out after doing all this streaming for the last about 3 years. Streaming my cameras over the Wi-Fi to do my YouTube stream. Of course, that's wired going from my house to YouTube, but my cameras are, Wi-Fi. The phone's Wi-Fi. And that just goes, there's so many factors, there's your neighbor's Wi-Fi's, and there's plenty of them right here where I live. There's like 6 other ones that I can see, that are, well, there's like 4 or 5, 4 at least that are strong as mine. And so I put mine on different channels to try to stop them from fighting each other. But then maybe they decide to change theirs one. I don't know it, I use one of the phone apps, Wi-Fi Finder, I think it's called. And then the last time I looked here, I was still on a channel that I was away from them as I could get. And then there's also your powerful on-air signals, your wireless signals. You got, of course, all the phone providers. You've got all the television, radio. The sun sends out radio signals, and all that stuff. And in the sun, you've heard of sunspots and all that stuff. Maybe whenever it does that, and one of those huge explosions on the sun sends out all kinds of radio waves, radioactive waves, everything. So they can interfere with it. So everything's constantly in flux. They like to say everything's changing in the radio world. So that the part the world we can't see, but we can hear it. When we have a device. Anyway, and of course all the frequencies, all the channels are separated, and used to, like when I was young and first started learning about this stuff, and the first time I ever heard anything about it was actually when I was a kid in the 60s, but I learned, it started in the 70s, learning more and more about it, and up in the 80s I actually had a friend that was a DJ at a radio station. I used to go help him, so he taught me a lot. And I had a job as a master control operator in the early 90s at a local TV station, and so I learned more there too, So, for instance, at night, all that TV and radio waves, TV is actually sent over radio waves, but it's a video signal. Anyway, the signals can travel further. The sun's not interfering with them as much, so we would have to, by law, everybody in the United States had to turn down your transmitter to a certain degree. I forgot what it was now, a certain amount of power output, so that you wouldn't walk over each other, and so that you wouldn't go too far. Well, you might go all the way up, say down here in Dallas-Fort Worth area. You might go to Oklahoma and walk over some small, weaker station up in Oklahoma or something, which we were a small station, but we had enough powerful enough transmitter to go pretty far. So anyway, especially at night. So I always had to turn it down at midnight, I think it was. And I just did that. We were pretty manual. I did that manually. There's automated stuff. There was, but back then there was automated stuff for doing that. But anyway, and I actually plugged the tapes into a tape deck and hit a button, hit a switch, and audio and video. I had to have one hand on the audio switch because, one tape would be louder or softer than the other. I'm sitting there and at first we had just a terrible Shure microphone mixer with just round knobs, and it was so hard to use. And so I talked him into getting a little Mackie mixer, and that made things a lot better. And went blank, and now I'm off on a whole wild story. But so anyway, that's one reason why I just leave it alone sometimes and don't try to, I think, well, there's some things you can't do anything about. You can't change what's going on with the radio waves out there, all the other competitors for your airspace. So anyway, today I messed around with it for an hour and a half. I don't know how long it's been now. What time is it? 3:55. So it's been at least an hour since I messed with all that, and I think it's better than it was. But see, if you're right now, you call that good, because I can see right now there's plenty. It looks like more of a lag in my preview than it does in the stream, luckily. But there's still, you would think I'm getting a lot of, and maybe I am getting drop frames. Maybe OBS is doing it. But because I got it set on 30 frames per second, which, if you're recording on a camera, that doesn't seem like a lot these days, because a lot of people I see online, they love to record in 60 frames per second. But 30 has been the standard for many, many years, and it's plenty. The only thing that 60 frames per second helps is fast motion. As far as people talking and moving around and their mouth syncing with it and everything, 30 frames per second is fine as long as your audio and video is in sync. Mine is always in and out of sync. It's never completely in sync, no matter what I do. But I don't have any other way. I don't have a real camera. All I have is these phone cameras. So, and the reason I was even able to do this at all is because those things were on sale 2 or 3 years ago for $15 each. And I started getting one, then I got another one, and got one for my mom. And then she decided that she was supposed to use it as a phone, but she decided it was too hard for her to use, so she gave it back to me. And then I got her that 10-inch camera tablet last year with a little bit. These are 5 megapixels. That thing is 8 or something on the video, and then the pictures are up higher on each one. But actually, the video on these are a little lower than 5 megapixels. So pictures are 5 and the video is like 2.7 or 3 or something like that. And then anyway, and quit trying to. I was using that 10-inch tablet some because it had a better camera for this view of when I want to show the screen, like when I'm doing something that can't on another computer that can't be done on a remote desktop or something, or this one, but whatever. Well, this one I can pretty much always do on remote desktop, but anyway, I don't know why I'm going through my whole setup, but that's what I've been working on. I guess that's because that's all I can think of right this minute. I'm still trying to figure out if I did how I did. So I was going to go straight into my little thing about shopping, but oh well, that's the way I am, I guess. So let me go into the desktop, and I'll show you the odd little things that, here's one of the first things. Let's see if we can get this in full screen. Now, what the heck is that? You ever seen that? This is on Walmart.com. Now, I was looking for, this is when I was looking, this was starting the day before Thanksgiving, or day before Thanksgiving, I guess, when I started looking. I don't know what it was, somewhere in November 23rd, that's the day it was. It's right up there. And if I try to point to anything up there that does that app. But I just wanted to see, they do that sometimes. They have for many years, ever since the internet started shopping on the internet. People decided, hey, I don't know why they think it's a good idea. It's just aggravating. Usually I just skip it. But since I knew there was a lot of big sales, I thought, well, it said you want to see the price, see it in the cart, I think it's a stupid gimmick that aggravates me to the point. Over the years, it's got to where it aggravates me to the point I just say no, don't even look, But this time I was really trying to find the best deal, so I clicked on it. Now I don't remember seeing this, at least not in a long time. They won't even, instead of just showing you the price in the cart, they want you to give them your name, your address, and your email to see the price of this product. And I was like, what? Forget that. So this is the product. It's a Linksys route switch, and that's the only reason I did it is because I've got one of those WGRT Linksys routers that it is going out now, but it's beginning to, one of the ports is bad, wired ports, and the Wi-Fi won't do more than 2 megabits up and about 15 down now, and I'm not 100% sure how much interference, because it's older radios and they may not be able to compete with the newer ones is one of the big things. But I do know that the wired port has died a couple of years ago, so it's probably just the hardware more than anything. It's the one in the garage, and it's still what I was using for my server. And in a way, it's not as long as it doesn't go down to nothing, and you never know when it might be doing that. It would be okay because then it automatically limits the bandwidth. People can't upload too much and kill my my bandwidth for my own personal use. But there's other ways to fix that. But I never bothered with it because my websites were never that busy. But you never know when somebody might be crawling, the internet with scripts and decide to just hard as fast as they can download your music. My music is what I'm sharing on my music websites. But anyway, that's why I was buying a switch so that I could put my D-Link router out there. I mean, my D-Link router is the one in here, my newest one. My TP-Link I was going to put out there because it'll do like 750 megabits wireless, and then it's a gigabit wire on the wired side. So I ended up buying me a gigabit switch, but not this one because they didn't want to give me the price. And I already know that these things are pretty overpriced these days anyway. They always were expensive, so, and they're not at all what they used to be. Linksys, they're not as good as they used to be. They're just like everything else made in China and all that stuff, So there you go. That's really weird, and that's what I was going to title this video. Christmas Shopping 2018, something. I forgot exactly what I was going to say. I guess I should have wrote it down. But tricky merchants, website malfunctions and tricky merchants. So there's your one tricky merchant. And there, now the other thing is, you might completely blame this on, on Walmart, but they allow. There's only one review too, so you must not have been a very good price if there's only one person that bought it and wanted to, write a review. Then again, that's a 5-star, so maybe that was given to them. They do that too, just like Amazon does. So I've started figuring that out. But I was going to say it's hard to tell So I guess Walmart's the seller. It'll tell you if there's a different seller. It'll tell you. You got to really watch out on Walmart, especially. And I'll show you some of that here. So I'm gonna just go through all these screenshots and try not to spend 30 minutes on each one. But this one, I'm not sure if it was Linksys, the seller, or Walmart. Maybe you can see it better than I can. I have trouble with finding what I want to find. But let's go to the next thing. Okay, now this is somewhat in reverse. Now I was wanting to make sure that I didn't have any trouble with Linux on the when I'm looking at my switches. So this one, it works in Linux, and I believe it's going to be the one I end up buying, I think. And the person wrote, you know, I think this is not a switch. This is, this is a network card, a NIC card, because I see the RTL 8111. That's the Ethernet chip that's on it. So, yeah, this one here, that was one of the first ones I looked at. It says Realtek chipset, and it was $9.99. And I thought, well, that's not too bad. And I thought, wait a minute, I have seen them for like, $4 or $5 before. So after a few days, see, this was still on the 23rd. I just, I didn't want to pay that much for it. I was thinking about getting one for the ASRock. I was either going to do that or get a motherboard with a different onboard chip than the one that's actually, I believe that's what's on the ASRock, is the RTL 8111, and that's the one that's not working in Fedora. It worked in Fedora 26 with a dual core processor, AMD, but with the 8-core in Fedora 27, 28, and 29, it doesn't work. No matter what I do, I've tried to figure out how to get it to work. I can't find any drivers anywhere to make it work. There is one thing I keep forgetting, and that's to maybe try there are some apps, I don't remember the name of them, that will actually take a Windows driver and pull out what it needs to make a Linux driver. And I don't know if I ever used, it might have been what I did with Fedora 26, and I just can't remember. I even tried to find if I had downloaded the Windows driver and, stuff like that, if I had it saved in my backups, and I couldn't find it. So I thought, well, I must not have done that. So, because if I did, I would have done that. But anyway. That's one that looked like it might be okay, had good reviews, and with something like this, you're not going to see a whole lot of customer reviews. Usually, it seems like. This is on Amazon, by the way. And so anyway, that one, and then I found a bunch of. I needed some light switches. I thought, or I did, or I thought I did, and then it turned out it was. My mom thought her light switch was bad in her room. It turned out she said both her bulbs burned out, and I didn't go look. I just trusted what she said, but. I saw all those light switches for a good price. And what was it? $17.99, I guess. Yeah. I don't think I took that one screenshot of it. And I was putting it in my watch, my saving compare. And then I was looking for a longer USB cable for my phone, so then I could move them around with them still plugged in. Move around to make my video while I'm making my videos and have them still plugged in. That looked like a good deal. I didn't end up getting those. Only 2 reviews. I was kind of leery of that, 5 stars, 2 reviews. And so, same picture again. Oh, and that's during one of my videos, actually, I had to take cough drop because I was coughing. And then I said, well, there's these 2 kinds that I have, and I'm always mentioning that. And so that's the one that I think does the best with helping with coughing. And it actually helps not just coughing. The other one both help with coughing, but that one seems to help stop the sinus drainage, and that's always my reason I'm coughing. And so, but that brand there, Ricola, is pretty good. It works pretty good, and it's all natural. Of course, everything. In my opinion, everything's natural because man actually never created anything. We just take stuff that's on this natural earth, and we cook it, bake it, cut it, heat it, cool it, and we mash it together and make it. To do maybe something a little different than what it did originally, but these, of course, are made from herbs and spices, whatever, lemon flavors and stuff, cherry flavors or whatever. So that was just a pharmacy I was looking at, and I just found all my screenshots to do with shopping and put them in there. Now that's the light switches I ended up getting. I ended up getting 2 of those. And this is a funny thing that we'll see in a minute. Okay, so they were $219 for the whole thing, I think, was it $2.19 each? I think it was $2.19 each. And let's see. When I get further along, well, I'll go ahead and show it right now. There's going to be more screenshots, but I think there's going to be more stuff in between. Okay, so they were, I think there were, yeah, it's a little confusing. I was trying, the screenshots I used, I didn't want to show too, any information that would, cause me trouble, so I tried to be careful. So I didn't, that's the reason I didn't open up my orders page. But let me go to my endoscope, because here's the funny thing. Okay, I ordered those, and whatever it was I paid for them, it was a heck of a lot cheaper than any others I saw. And this is what came in it, a receipt from Lowe's. Now, I ordered this on Amazon. And when I got it, I was like, Lowe's? I didn't order anything from Lowe's. And at first I was like, what the heck? And then when I think I pulled out the receipt first or something. And anyway, so I was like, these are the light switches I ordered. I knew they had blue backs to them, and can't see it very good in that picture, but you'll see it later. But so on Lowe's, I didn't ever move anything. So get over here. I'll show you around the receipt. And it one package, 50 map. Well, dang it. As soon as I get off this other mic, I start coughing like a maniac. So 15 amp, single pole, just regular light switch. And now my legs on my tripod are not letting me move the paper anymore. What I mostly wanted to show, I got to get to where I can show it. Dadgummit. Can't figure out which way to go here. Oh, it might help if I folded this up. Then maybe I can move it a little better. Okay. I had it where it wasn't too bad. I thought I had it to where I could move it around and show it better. I get turned around really easy. And fold it again. It's pretty hard to get that all straight in which way to go. Now, two of them, 69 cents each, $1.38. And I thought, what the heck is going on here? I thought, total shipment, $1.49, 11 cents tax. And I was like, okay, did somebody... I don't pay a heck of a lot of attention. If it has good ratings, I don't pay a heck of a lot of attention. Sometimes I forget to even look and see who's actually shipping at Amazon or some seller on there. And so I thought, somebody just buying these light switches at Lowe's and then shipping them out. And I thought, if they were doing that, why would they give me their receipt, Unless, I don't know, maybe they wanted to do that for customer service so that you could take it back if you needed to, straight to Lowe's. I mean, with that, I should be able to if it was broken, which I just now kind of really realized that. But I was trying to put it, but that's not just a packing slip. I mean, that's a regular receipt. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you can take stuff back with packing slips these days, but used to, packing slip wasn't really considered a real receipt, and you probably couldn't take it back with that, if you needed to. Now, whatever I did to this thing is... Anyway, I cannot seem to get it. Maybe if I move that over that way more, I can. I thought I had that in a way better.
I didn't really try looking around the whole paper that much. I thought I didn't know it was going to be that hard. Okay, if I let go of it, it unfolds. That's why I kept trying to do it with it not folded. Okay, so quit fiddling with that. We'll go back to the desktop. Get back on our other mic.
And let me check our sound again. Never know when things didn't actually go right. Okay, now, so anyway, that is something I've never had happen before. So that's one of those oddities. I wouldn't say it's tricky. In this particular instance, seems that talking about those cough drops made me need one. May get one. It's cold outside and the heater's running a lot, and it just came on a while ago and does heck to my throat. Too much. I mean, I'm not uncomfortable. It's just it is 79.9 in here though right now. I can feel the coolness, of the outside air kind of creeping in, but this house is pretty tight. Really, it doesn't have a lot of drafts or anything. A little bit, any house is going to have some. Anyway. I guess I paid $2.19 for the two of them, and that ticket is for $1.49. That was what I was getting at. So I'll go back to that when I see the screenshots. Now here's what I did order. I ordered 3 LAN cards that were $4.61 each. Oh, okay. So I guess I paid $2.19 each for those, because those were, I do remember those were $4 something each, $4.61 each, I guess. I thought they were $4.01 or something. And I did order these 10-foot, a 2-pack of 10-foot cables, which I'm using right now, and they work fine except for one thing. The phones occasionally, not always, but they'll pop up a message saying it thinks it's not plugged into the right charger. And telling you might could damage your phone, which what I figure is happening is that it sees a lower voltage than it's looking for. It's checking the voltage. It might even be checking the amperage, probably just the voltage. So a 10-foot cable as opposed to a 2-foot or 2.5-foot cable, you're going to have some voltage drop. So with me leaving them plugged in all the time, I thought that actually probably wouldn't hurt because I won't be overcharging them while I'm using them plugged in all the time for making my videos. But and then they work fine, no problems. They don't go down. They still stay fully charged the whole time they're plugged in. But I only bought 2 of them, and I have 3 phones. So, and one of them, the one reason why I bought them is because one of my cables went bad. Charger's fine, but the cable had got a bad connection in it, and and that's, I think, because of the one up here on the monitor is, you can't really see it, but I'll point up that direction. You can see my hand. It's right up at the top of it's just, the legs are setting here and here. It's a three-legged tripod, and then another one's on a box behind the monitor. So that's the one that always looks at me. When you see there's something looking down on me, that's the camera 1 looking down on me. Well, this one, if I get up there and move stuff around, I'll knock it off by accident half the time, And what catches is the cable plugged into the phone. It usually doesn't come out. It usually stays in and just catches it. So with the longer cable, it can fall all the way down back there without, or maybe I can catch it before it gets to the end of the cable. I do try to catch it. And I can move the phones around without having to have an AC cord within 10 feet of them. So that's the reason I got them. So, I forgot to make that full screen. Okay, so at the bottom here, that's my 8 terabyte Seagate expansion drive I got. That I made videos on that if you're interested in that. And I don't know if I have it. Yeah, there's a screenshot of it. Got it for $129 on eligible for return till then. When did I get it? November 23rd, and they went back up right after that. And I got that thing was $27 $27, $26 when I first saw it. I didn't even consider it, and then it went down with those first 3 days of shopping there around that time, and so I ended up getting that one, and it's fine. So I've been using it since I got it, and well, that was actually before then. That seemed, well, I've only tried it out for a few minutes there. I got it for Mom for her 10-inch tablet. It works fine, hooked up real easy, but I don't think she's actually used it yet. And so some of this is just my general shopping, you know. There's those light switches again. I guess it's $2.19 each is what I end up paying. Yeah, okay, they separate. Sometimes, you know, like these two things are separate. Yeah, so it's $4.38 for 2 of them. Okay, now I get it. This one is $12.45, yeah, for 3 of them. And that's those Ethernet cards. And at the time when I got them, I'm not so sure if I don't think I got the exact same chip as the one that's not working in the ASRock. I sure hope not. But it does look like a similar number when I looked at my order page. Now, this is something I almost bought, and I decided not to because I thought my mic cable was breaking in my mic. I ended up just making a whole video of checking the mic cable, and it turned out okay. So, but this would be what I would buy if I was going to buy anything right now. Of course, I mean, just taking, you know, from the reviews and what I read about it. 2 mics, a splitter where you can use them both at once, a 16-foot extension cable, 4 clips, 2 adapters, and 4 windscreens. And yeah, I put it in the cart and then changed my mind. This is my mixer that I use, and I was I was actually taking a screenshot of one of my videos where I was showing it one day. So I just put that in. I just moved all this stuff to a folder, all my recent shopping stuff. It's been a good mixer. I bought it actually at Musician's Friend because I didn't have to pay any tax, and I was going to have to pay tax. Sometimes you pay tax on Amazon, sometimes you don't here in Texas, depending on where it comes from. If it comes from a seller in Texas or from Amazon themselves, you got to pay tax because they have warehouses in Texas. So if it's like something like this, you're going to pay enough tax to make a difference, you know. I went ahead and bought it at Musician's Friend because there wasn't any tax. And I've had that. Of course, this is just a recent picture of it, but I've had it a year or 2 now, so still working fine. It's a good little mixer for what, you know, stuff like this, doing YouTube videos. You don't need a lot of inputs. And I use one SM58, and then now my lapel mic is going through my phone straight to the computer over Wi-Fi, so it doesn't use the mixer. I wish I could go through the mixer and get better sound on the mics, but I tried to plug it into the mixer, and I don't care what adapter I used, it wouldn't work. It's got, you know, to work with the phones, it needs TRRS, and what this has is either XLR or TRS, and even with all and also tried all the stereo channels here and everything on it. There was no way I could get it to work. I spent 2 or 3 times, hour to 2 hours at a time went through every adapter I have, and I've got everything I can. I've saved adapters since the late 80s. Well, I started collecting them in like I guess, at least probably 89, 90 or something like that. There's some, no, actually, I've got some from the 70s. I've still got some adapters that still work from the 70s. But most of them are from the, say, 90 on, when I did sound for bands. But definitely not a Mackie VLZ or even the big, you know, it'd be nice to have the bigger, Behringer. I've used Behringers, they're okay. But I learned on a Mackie, really, and I really do like the layout and everything. I'm used to that. And yeah, you can, for instance, the earphone output on this is really noisy. And I tried this. I tried to use the control room output, like I was thinking, okay, I could go control room to recording is what you would normally do. It's noisy. You can't use it for recording. You got to use the main output for recording. If you turn it up, you know, much at all, then you had to turn it up where they got it right there. It'd be really noisy. And what I do is I go out the mains to my Behringer V-amp and use the effects in it, and then go from it to the computer. And I tried going the other way, you know, using the control room out, thinking it might even be quieter. It wasn't. And because I was thinking I'd use the mains to go from the computers, I would bring my computer into one of, like, say, this 5 and 6. I've got a patch bay up there where all my computers are plugged into, but I can't keep them all plugged in all the time because the signal degrades, you know, too many. It's not a mixer, it's just a patch bay. And no active, you know, anything in it. And but I could bring the signal back up with a channel. This one channel is all I need. I need stereo, so I need a right and left. And then I could go out. I can go out the control room, but if it's going to be noisy, I don't want to do that. You know, I want to listen to that. And I could go out the mains, and going out the mains would be more what I'm used to. You know, if I had to grab the main knob, I really like sliders. I really didn't ever really want one of these with knobs. I like sliders, but I've got since I don't really ever touch it, it's fine. Except for I have to check it all the time because my arm bumps it where it's set, and got it where I can reach it, but my arm will bump it and change that one and that one to get changed. Somehow I bump them both. I usually don't run into the mains or anything else. So anyway, I may still try that again. I can try using the control room. I mean, I just have to remember that that's my control room is actually my mains, you know, because what I would think of as my speakers in my room would be my mains. In my head, that's my mains. So, but I couldn't do it that way. I would have to leave it like it is. The mains goes to my recording, to my computer, and then the control room out. Actually, with the control room out, I would hear everything, everything that goes into the board. I still wouldn't hear my wireless mic. So I can't. That's another thing is, well, the only way I can monitor my wireless mic, I can monitor my SM58 and everything that goes into the board through my headphones or through I can't go through the speakers because I'm not going to the speakers, I'm going to the computer. But I do plug them in my headphones sometimes and use the control room. I have it wired. I have got another output. There's a phones output on the Behringer V-amp, and I have it coming back into the tape input. And then the control room, I can turn it up to monitor it on my headphones. Plug my headphones not into the phones, but into the control room output. And it is kind of noisy, but it helps me to initially get things set up. And then, but for the wireless going through phone 3, only way I can hear it is to listen to it while I'm doing a live recording, you know, straight out of YouTube, and there's a big delay, so that's kind of hard. But it helps to be able to do that. Like just now, I hit it just so I know everything's still good. It doesn't matter what I'm on, whatever mic source I'm on, I'm going to hear it on YouTube. You know, I just keep my admin page up, my live stream admin page. Now, I was looking for. I was thinking instead of buying those Ethernet cards, I thought, why buy Ethernet cards when I could just buy my new motherboard, one that works right with, you know, and with the Ethernet works and everything like it should. And then I can still use that ASRock motherboard on the dual-core processor. I still have it in its memory, and that would give me another machine to play with. Not that I need it, but... So this was actually the best deal I saw. And, well, there's actually, when I very first started looking, before any holidays, they were around $62 to $65 for these boards that would support the AMD 8300 processor that I bought a while back, last year. Now, I think. No, not last year, last summer for Mom. And I already put it in the ASRock motherboard, and the only problem I really have with it, there's two problems I've had. One, the Ethernet not working, and so I just put a 100 megabit Ethernet card in it, and so I have it networking with it, but I didn't like it like that. And then the other thing was I did do some streaming straight from it with OBS Studio, and it worked fine. The stream never quit, but it would most of the time, after about 30 minutes to an hour, the OBS Studio software interface would just stop working, and half the screen would be white, and you couldn't stop it. I would just have to. What I would do is set that machine that say is the well, it didn't really matter, but one machine is the backup stream and one machine is the primary stream, and then if I shut one down, then the other one would take over automatically, and it would be seamless on YouTube. Nothing would be noticed. And I quit trying to do that because of the trouble with the software, because it got really confusing and aggravating to try to do it. But anyway, this one here, and I thought, well, maybe the Asus will have an Ethernet chip that works. And excuse me. And before I bought the 8300 processor, I did read one post saying that I did check around and make sure that that processor would work, because it's not in the supported list for the. It does the ASRock that I have. I don't know the number of it. It's in my plenty of other videos about it, but I don't know what the number is right now. But it's not in the supported list, but it does support anything from dual core to 8 core processors. But it was the early 8 cores before the 8300 came out. Just can't be, but it can't be over 90, 95 watts. And this one's, right there. It's the top. No problems with it overheating or anything like that. I'm not trying to overclock it. It's for my mom anyway, And I do have it on automatic overclocking. It's like, I don't know, what was it, 3,300 megahertz or something. AMD's actually, they measure theirs in, like 3,300 or 4, like that. They don't measure them in 2.4, but I mean, usually people kind of convert it and write it out for you both ways if you look on websites. But anyway, this one had decent reviews. They're really kind of the Asus and the Gigabyte, and had about the same reviews, and the ASRock. But I was decided to stay away from ASRock because I figured to get another one, I'll have the same problem. But knowing that they were actually, I keep up with stuff here and there all the time. Things like this, computer parts, I look at here and there always, have for years and years. So when I looked, probably a week before Thanksgiving or 2 weeks, here and there, once every week or 2 or 3, I'll kind of look at them. And especially since I've been having trouble with that one. And so, like I said, they were 62 to 65 basically. And they're still listed on B&H B&H Photo, I think it is, but they're out of stock. And you have to back order them for 62. But their shipping is $10 or something. So that brings the price on back up to about this, So I thought, well, that might be all right. So I was, this one here is the one I had boiled it down to. And I put it in the cart. And of course you get this crap. You want to buy these warranties and junk. So I do screenshots while I'm doing this stuff to make sure that if I make a mistake, I know. Or if I don't make a mistake and they charge me something, I can prove it with these screenshots. So put in the cart, and I think I saw that right away. What does that say right there? Top right. 104. What does it say over here? 76.19. Now, is this a website malfunction, or is this a tricky scamming merchant? Don't know. And as far as the seller goes, sometimes it's right there. It says buy Asus, but that does not necessarily mean that's the seller. Sometimes the seller may be Amazon. Sometimes the seller may be some other Yahoo out there. I don't know how come it looks. I don't think it's just me. It's different every time you look at one of these pages. They're not every one of them laid out the same, or else I just can't see straight, which could be the case. But anyway, I can see the difference between $100.04 and $76.19. And so, here you go. Go in the car, and I said, is that really what it says? Yes, that is what it says. So I look back on the page, and now it says $100.04. I thought, okay, did the seller change the price while I was putting it in the cart? I was trying to figure out what might have happened. This is on the December the 3rd, and I wanted it by this time. I was so dang tired of shopping. This was after days and days of 2 or 3 days of straight shopping all day, every day, trying to find the right thing, all over the place. And so I kept looking at it, just couldn't believe it. And look over here. There's the price of it in my cart. It still says $80.82. So, what the heck? It says $76 should be the price, but it says $100. It says $100. So there's $100 over here, but in my cart over there it says $80.82. There's only one thing in my cart on the right there. Still says $80.82. So I deleted it. Over here, deleted it to the bottom left. And I look back through them again. I look back at my search results, and I thought, you know, sometimes there's different sellers, and one will sell it for one price and the other sell it for the other. I thought maybe I clicked on the wrong one, but I didn't. You can see I didn't. And here it is, $76.14. What was it? That's a different price though. $76.19. Now that's still a different price. So this says $76.14. Now who's the seller? Don't see anything about who the seller is. So there it is again. M5A78LM. I believe that's the same one. M5A78LM. Yep. Again, okay, now here, hot deals for less. That's who it's coming from. Finally, I see that. See, I don't see anything about no hot deals anywhere else. Sometimes it'll say it. Okay, so this was from Hot Deals for Less. Now, I don't have a clue if they were pulling something, if they were just messing around in their cart, you know, their prices and made a mistake or thought they'd go up. To me, it looks like price. It looks like they're trying to rip you off. Is what it looks like, or they're price gouging. You know, they're like, okay, this is popular, let's raise the price. But so $76.14. I went back and so I believe I clicked on that link now, but yeah, I think I did, and then I didn't get a screenshot of me actually clicking on it. But I couldn't just start making. I mean, this is happening fast. I didn't have time to start a video. I would have. It's $76.19 again. Okay, so I'm like, well, maybe it was just a malfunction. So I kind of look it over, put it in there again. No thanks for the other bill crap. RDC 8092. I just thought these could be out of order, but I don't think so. No, they're not. I'm looking at the time up there at the top right. They're in the right order that I'm saying it in. Okay, so 8092. So I'm like, well, crap. I'm not doing that. So I deleted it. And then my shopping cart's empty. So then I started looking again. And I thought, okay, what's this? Oh, the gigabyte is 64. That's cheaper. And it had not quite as good of overall ratings, but, you know, it was, I thought, well, maybe I'll get that one. And then I started reading through, and I realized it's refurbished. I ain't buying no refurbished nothing, especially not for that price. If it was half price, maybe I'd consider it. But usually if something's got sent back and refurbished, there's something was wrong with it. And what they did was they blew the dust off of it and sent it back, put it in a box and sent it back out. Maybe sometimes they repair stuff. Depends on who the refurbisher is, really. And what they call refurbished. Now, back to my light switches. See, I knew it was far apart. I went ahead and went to Lowe's to say, okay, I wonder if what they cost at Lowe's. And otherwise, I wanted to figure out, did this merchant buy it from Lowe's? And then import, go buy them from Lowe's, like say go up to Lowe's and buy them and then sell them at and I thought, did I get ripped off? Could I have went to Lowe's and ordered it? I thought, well, could I have went to Lowe's and ordered it? And sure enough, 69 cents. Two of them, $1.38. Tax, 9 cents. Estimated total, $47.47. I was like, holy crap. I think that's exactly what's on my deal there. Let's see. Let's look right now while we're thinking about it. $1.49. So it's very close. The total on that ticket that they sent me was $1.49. So, of course, I'm in Texas. Maybe this was a different state even. Who knows? Or it was 69 cents was the base price, both ways. So then I said, okay, what would the shipping be? $99 for me. So no, I didn't get ripped off. I got them quite a bit cheaper. Spent like, what did I say, so I don't remember what I told. What was my total? I have to go back and look at my screenshots again, I guess. But I think I paid $2 and something each for them. Now, yeah, I could have drove down there, but I don't get out hardly at all. I order pretty much everything, and it would have cost me. And my Blazer's not even running right now. But if I was driving my Blazer, it gets around 10 miles to the gallon. So 12 miles one way, 20. So say, 24, 25 mile trip. So, it wouldn't be worth it anyway. So, of course, now, if you go down here in Azle, where I live, you're not going to get them for 69 cents. The only thing we got is, we got Walmart and we got Ace Hardware. Ace Hardware is outrageously expensive, so wouldn't have been any help to go there. Walmart might have been okay. And they were, I think I looked at Walmart. I think they were $3 or $4 each for a switch. So now I thought, okay, they have delivery. I knew, Home Depot and Lowe's will deliver, but they charge. If you're buying something big, they'll deliver some stuff for free. But they're $65 to deliver 2 light switches. So no, not an option. So what was that? That was just one by itself there, 73 cents. But so back to the Lowe's, 69 cents. So yeah, if you live close to a Lowe's, well, if you live close to Fort Worth or Azle, Texas, that's what they were here in December the 8th. So no, this is the 8th, December the 3rd. When I got I don't have it full screen. Yeah. So December the 3rd. Okay, so then I was looking for cold medicine. I like to get the Equate from Walmart for like $2.70 or $3.70 or something, 60. But what we do is we order our groceries online, and then somebody picks it up. And it's not me. And so I was thinking of trying this because the one I usually get, can't think of the brand, I'll see it here in a minute, it was not available. But I figured out, I looked at the ingredients. I take the nighttime ones actually. Yeah, these are yellow, but they're nighttime. I take the night times in the day because they're the only ones that have the ingredients that actually helps me, even though they do make me a little drowsy. They don't knock me out, but they do make me a little drowsy. I can't really take most of the daytime ones that raise your blood pressure, and I can't do that. So that's what got me to doing that. So I'm researching those, and I was thinking about buying them when, what's this? I think I figured out these don't have the ingredients I want. I'm not going to try to read them all out. It's around there somewhere, all the ingredients. But if I remember right, they didn't actually have what I wanted, and they cost more too. So there's 3. Now then, this is a brand I did try once. Well, I didn't try this one, but I found this one, and it does have all the ingredients I want. Is it listed up there? Yeah, instead of amphetamine, which I don't really want, but you can't to get these other 2 and 3 ingredients. That you pretty much have to get one with that in it. Chlorophenamine, malate. Sometimes some of them are 5 milligrams, some are 10. This is 10. Dextromethorphan bromide, 5, and then and 5 milligram. Phenylephrine, I can't say it. Sometimes I can say it, sometimes I can't. Phenylphrin hydrochloride. Those 3 ingredients is what I want. That's what works for me. I really don't even want the inside of, well, sometimes I actually do have headaches or aches and pains. It helps. I just don't want to take too much, but I don't take 2 of them like they tell you. I take 1, usually 1 in 4 to 6 hours. If I'm having a really bad day, I might end up taking 3 of them in a day, and then 1 or 2 at night. Usually I take 1 when I go to bed and 1 when I get up. I was taking the NyQuil liquid, but that knocks me out, makes it so hard to get up. And actually, after taking it for a year or 2, every night, yeah, I know, shouldn't be doing that, but my allergies are so bad, I cough. If you watched the video, you've heard how bad it gets. I can't breathe.
I'm choking. I'll throw up. I choke so much I throw up. So yeah, that's nice to hear, isn't it? So I've been taking this stuff for years, and it's for allergies. But anyway, I started getting real bad cramps in my feet and legs, and I thought, you know what? That's one thing I've been doing that I know is not the best thing, you know. So I quit taking that NyQuil at night, and I quit having cramps altogether for a month. And lately, I've been having some smaller ones in my feet, and it may be because I took a few more of these, not these, but the Walmart Equate brand during the day. I usually take, let's see, now there's what they cost. You had to go to this next screen, you know, some things you had to do that. So they're a little bit cheaper, but it's also only 12 capsules. And normally I get 24 capsules, 12 at nighttime and 12 daytime. So that's really more expensive by quite a lot. That's almost $6 for 12 capsules instead of for 24. And it's a lot more than Walmart's. And of course, everybody knows what, you know, familiar with Walmart. So anyway, and when was it going to show up? Well, this was on the 5th, and it was going to show up 11th to the 14th. So that was going to be a week, and I didn't want to wait that long. I was afraid I'd run out. Actually, today's like the 8th, I think, and I still haven't run out, but I've already got the ones that my backup ones I'll show them. I think they're in here. But anyway, I have taken the other one that doesn't have, was missing one of the ingredients. It's okay, but it doesn't do the job for me because I never heard of this one before. I just thought, well, why don't I look up this brand is what I did. And I thought, okay, they do have more than one kind, you know. It wasn't showing up in the searches. So, and this is where somebody reviews on it. It had good reviews. That's pretty good reviews. No 1 stars whatsoever. You don't see that on hardly anything. And here's a motherboard again. Now, we're back on Walmart looking at motherboards, and I'm still trying to find a motherboard at a decent price. And the funny thing is, these big sales, you know, some things do get put on good sales, but a lot of other people take this time to try to take advantage of people in a frenzy, you know, they're in a frenzy to buy stuff. They're in a hurry to buy stuff, you know, for Christmas. Look at this. $80.94, pretty much the standard price on Amazon. Shipping, $99.95. Now this I blame it on the person doing it, but I blame it on Walmart almost more because they allow these rip-off con artists to sell on their website. I got hit by this several years ago when they first started doing it. I had no clue they were doing this. I thought I was buying from Walmart. And I just I clicked on reorder paper towels. I ended up spending $35 on a $12 package of paper towels. Didn't know it until I got it, and you know, I didn't see it. I just was in a hurry. Click, 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 reorder. Don't do that anywhere, especially on Walmart. They're worse. Anybody and their dog, they just, you know, like on Amazon, people start ripping people off. There's usually a bunch of bad reviews, and then they get kicked out. Well, I don't know what Walmart does, but this is not just at Christmas. Now, that's the most I think I've ever seen, but you'll see anywhere from $10 to $25 shipping on an item that costs less than $25, you know. I mean, that's $100 shipping on an $80 and $81 item. I just couldn't believe it. It just makes me not want to buy from Walmart. It used to be you could trust them, you know, if you bought something and there was something wrong with it, you could take it back. Even if they did sell some junk, they'd at least take their junk back, you know. And that's the other thing you got to watch out for is when it's not sold by Walmart. And again, I'm not sure who it's sold by here. Right there it says Walmart number. So I'm not sure where you have to put it in the cart or something. Find out who sells it. But wait a minute. Sold and shipped by Crossway. There it is, right there at the very bottom. Distros. So these are the people conning you with this rip-off shipping. But Walmart's in control of their website. They're responsible for this. So this is a con. I can't believe it. Walmart didn't used to be like this back in the 80s and 90s. Back I don't remember when they first started up. Probably in the 80s. But anyway. You got to watch, and the return policies. If they got a shipping policy like that, what do you expect their return policies are going to be? They won't be Walmart's return policies. There'll probably be no returns whatsoever.
So anyway, yeah, can't believe it. Okay, so now here's something I've been wanting to get one of these for years from my mom. Mom, don't watch this video till after Christmas. But I was debating about whether to put this in there. I don't think she watches my videos. So anyway, they generally go from 250 up, and there are some cheaper ones. And I looked at them and looked at them and looked at them and debated about it. And yeah, it only has 2 reviews, but they were both 5-star reviews, and they both have videos, and they're good videos. They don't sound like they got them for free. I think the one guy says he bought it. The other girl, it's a guy and a girl didn't say one way or the other. They just tell you about it, what they think about it, and they sound honest, And it has the features that I wanted. I watched some videos on them because I knew I hadn't looked at them in a few years. I looked at them a lot when they first came out with these things, these robot vacuums. That's what it is, in case you didn't know what it was. And it has the features that I thought that I wanted, and it was, 136 plus 10% off, so it was like 122 something. That's what I remember the ticket being. And so, and it does do floors and carpets. And it has don't remember ever hearing of this before, but some of them, a lot of them have a mop function. It has a water bucket, a water can, you can put water in them, and kind of was looking at it, and you put a cloth, you change out the brushes for a cloth or something, and it'll mop the floor. I just remember to take that back off before you let it go on the carpet. I saw that in one of the videos about something about, it had a feature, an electronic feature that, like, I don't know, do something, beep, or do something to tell you, say you wouldn't mop your carpet for an hour, But anyway, now this one doesn't, and it says large water tank, and here's all the things it has. It doesn't has a power adapter, but it's not a dock, where it drives up to it and can make contact with the little electrical connections on the front. You have to plug it in. It's a barrel connector, just like your old standard, wall with a barrel connector, and you plug it in yourself. Which, first I thought, well, that's kind of not like the new other ones, but I thought, it's not that hard to do that, especially for the price difference. And mop piece, power adapter, remote, and it has a remote, which none of the others I saw in that price range had a remote. And that's a really good thing. If it gets hung up, you can just mash it. If you got to go over there and grab it, bend over in the floor and grab it all the time, or try to kick it, you might knock yourself down. Being me, myself, or my mom, we might trip ourselves up. So the remote would be really good. Has two bilateral brushes. I guess that's the ones that spin, and then a mop piece, and then this screenshot doesn't show any more. Water tank, and okay, now we're going to do the rest. Warranty card. Now, still to this day, I keep forgetting to go. When you click on the link somewhere, right here, it doesn't go to the warranty. It says go look on the manufacturer website. Well, I keep forgetting to do that. I know it's not. It could be 90 days. Some of them are. Usually they're a year or two. I usually don't like to buy things with at least a year warranty, but I did it without remembering. I was in a shopping frenzy. I was shopping all day and all night. And I was so tired of doing it, after so many days, 3 or 4 days of doing it. Anyway, it doesn't say anywhere on here what the warranty is, so I'm going to guess it's 90 days. That's usually what the case is. Manual and product certification. And let's see, what does it say there? Turn the switch on. Right side of the machine, it means the machine is in standby mode. Choose the speed, divided into fast and slow. Okay. First charge time 8 hours. Of course, all of them tell you to charge them up for 8 hours before you use them. It says please don't try to approach the bathroom in cleaning mode. Don't know exactly why. I guess they think because there might be wet in there. You could stabilize the machine by hand and pull out the brush and replace the brush. Okay. Please clean up regularly the machine after, and that is one thing. Well, I mean, the old vacuums, people seem to think it's the greatest thing to have a canister that you can empty out. Well, it's the biggest freaking mess, and you're covered in dust. We have one of these fairly expensive stand-up vacuums, upright vacuums with a plastic thing you got to cup that you got to pull out and empty it. And there's no way you can clean that thing out without being covered in dust. You've got to do it out in the garage, or else you're gonna, the garage is just, I hate it. I can't stand to use it. And that's one thing I won't like about this, but at least it's not as big and as big of a mess. Anyway, clean regularly after use in order to ensure the robot working. Of course, you're gonna, same thing with, it'll be easier to clean this. It's smaller and lighter than that big old thing. That thing is heavy. It's hard for me to mess with these days. That's because my health is not good. It's not because I used to be a big old strong guy, or medium-sized strong guy or whatever, but I'm not strong like I used to be. So press the finger mark on the machine, surface cover to lift, and take the dust box off. So it has some instructions right there. I don't know why they put that on there, but they did. Oh yeah, the warranty. That's when I was clicking on the warranty, and that's what I just told you is what I found out. And there's there's one of the videos right there, and of course, I'm taking a risk getting it because there's only 2 reviews. They're both they're not super shining reviews, but they're not. There's not enough reviews to get a very good picture, but there's 2 videos, and that did help a lot because I saw exactly what the thing does and what it looked like. And like I said, they weren't trying to sell it and saying, "Oh, this is the most wonderful thing in the world." But yeah, I did get it for free, but it's the most wonderful thing in the world. They didn't say that, so of course maybe they're just smarter than that. But anyway, that's what I got, and I haven't got it yet. It hasn't got here yet. Get here actually tomorrow, I think. Sunday. And yeah, I was starting to buy some of those at that time, those ones I've been showing you. And then I decided not to get them because the other ones came back whenever I see them all. What's this? Back to more motherboards. More, or was that motherboards or yeah, motherboards. And so I was looking to make sure that they would. You got to remember, if you're running Linux like I do, you make sure they're going to run on Linux. So I was checking that out, and that must have been this board. Sometimes they're in reverse order because I forget to take the first screenshot of the main thing until I see, oh, I want a screenshot of that. And I go, oh, well, I better take a screenshot of what is that belongs to, So this one was another Gigabyte, probably the same ones I looked at already, I'm sure. Well, that other one was a different one because the GA970A, I think, is actually maybe a few more features than the other one I was looking at. But it's 83. I think maybe this one was actually new. I think the other one was a lower rung on the fence and or on the ladder, but yeah, it costed $80 and something for a refurbish, and I'm pretty sure this one is new. Somewhere it should say on there. But anyway, I didn't get it either. I decided to get the Ethernet cards and just wait. I got to thinking, well, why spend that kind of money right now, especially when really all I do need is an Ethernet card that works, gigabit Ethernet card for $4 and something. And the she's not going to be making any OBS Studio videos. And I looked that up, and it turns out it's a problem with AMD processors. They just evidently don't have the OBS Studio code written, fully fledged for AMD processors. It works really great in Intel. I know that. I've used it in Windows and Linux. I started out trying to use it in Linux, and I thought it was a little overwhelming was a dual core I was trying to use it on. Tried it on a laptop. Well, it's from my Dell 1525 laptop, and it would overheat and shut itself down. Then I tried it on a desktop, and it worked, but not real good. This was when they first came out with OBS several years ago. And then I tried it on a Windows machine, and it was worse. So then, a few months later, it was working pretty good, and it was usable. But then once I got this quad core, it's been fantastic. It can handle it. And they've been working on the software, too, so it's better than it was. But, of course, that's what I'm using right now. And, this is the last screenshot. So that was the end of I just finally decided not to get a motherboard. So, let's get out of there. I guess I might, I'll go ahead and go show what I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think I can go into my orders without showing too much. Just don't be careful about what details I click on. Because now that I've gone on and on about what I ordered, I'd kind of like to show exactly what it was. What I can't remember was what I ordered today. Thought I was completely done. I need bags, and the hot water heater, I'm afraid it's not heating as good as it used to. Have it turned up all the way now, and I'm hoping that if there is anything wrong with it, well, there's something wrong. Maybe the thermocouple will fix that. Comtrex, those came in, and I've got them yesterday. That's what they have, the exact same ingredients as the Walmart ones. Let's see if we can. I don't know if I can go in there and find that or not. That might find it for me right there. I'm sure you know what it is, but you might not. I mean, well, I say I'm sure you know what it is, but then again, maybe you don't. And I like them better than ones that are the gel caps. Get to you quicker. These ones right here. There's the Equate ones, but they're the generic version of NyQuil, and they get to you quicker, but they're hard to swallow for me. They're so big, and they don't last as long. They go away too quick because they're liquid, I think. And I started to just go in my favorites and see my bookmarks. I think there's a lot to choose from. Is that it? I think that might be it. Well, that's the Tylenol brand. Now, this is the generic of the Tylenol. Now, see, they're $6.48, but this is the grocery. That's why I went into the grocery one, because you have to pick up groceries. It's not even available. It's not even showing up on the regular Walmart. So I used to order them from Walmart.com, and they don't even show up anymore in Walmart.com. The ones that I'm talking about. That's one reason why I thought I'd show them, if I can find the darn things. Probably if I wouldn't say caplets, it might have showed right up. Because they're tablets, they're tabs. Try one more time. Now, as you can see, not only they're hard to find, and then they're always out of them. That's why I didn't get any this last week, because they were out of them. And the work I have realized that I think they have like 5 milligrams instead of 10 that like the Comtrex have, but actually I think 5 is better for me, at least in the daytime, because what I've been doing is taking the Walmart ones in the daytime and the other ones at night because I'm starting to get worse. I took one of those pills. Oh, I did take a Walmart. I'm actually worse right now, but it's been at least an hour since I took it, so I don't know why. What happens? Should be working good by now. No, it shouldn't. Usually what they do is make it worse and then make it better. But it's usually only about 20, 30 minutes of worse. I can't find them in there. Okay, I can't believe that. I had a feeling. Do I have a grocery section? I don't think I have a folder for groceries, so if I get some of this extra junk out of there, maybe it'll work. I'll find what I'm looking for. I'm searching my bookmarks. Maybe I spelled Walmart wrong. Sure did. Mine already came up. If I'd have. Oh, okay. Let's see. Now here it is. This is the one I've been taking for years. And let's see, it's 338. Last time I saw it, it was 2 something. But I guess they go up and down. And see, yeah, it's in stock right now. Wait a minute. That's regular Walmart. I haven't seen that in forever. I thought they'd quit selling them. This is how I used to get them. I'm going to put it in there so I can find it again. I thought they'd just quit selling them on the Walmart site. Yeah, that says Walmart, not groceries. There's groceries.walmart.com. Well, somewhere it's in the groceries, and that's what I've been having to do is get it there. This one, I put on the note that it's the same, but I figured out it's missing one of the ingredients. It's got acetaminophen, chlorphenamine, and phenylephrine, but it doesn't have the other one, whatever that other one is. So it doesn't, what it does is it make me keep on draining, so I don't like it. What is that one? Oh, Dristan, that's one I considered, but 690. I don't know if it has the same ones or not. I used to take stuff like that when we were kids. That's what we had was Dristan and kids and young adults. They didn't have some of these other stuff. It might be the one I just put in the cart. I can't believe that one is still that's daytime. And like I said, the daytime one I had to quit taking them years ago because they raised my blood pressure and made me feel bad, made my head hurt and everything, made me dizzy, made my head pound. Well, I'm really glad to see that. They won't let you get more than 3 at a time. Here are I can't believe they're back on the regular site. That's what I can do now. I mean, I don't need to order anything now, but hopefully the next time. I haven't been looking anymore because they didn't have them every time I looked. Make sure that's the right thing. Yeah, and acetaminophen. And I won't try to say them again. And see, this one is missing the dextromorphan HBr, which somewhere I saw what it actually does, but I think it might be the decongestant. Can't remember now. It's somewhere on this stuff it tells you what's what. Maybe down here. Ingredients, yeah, okay. Acetaminophen, which is pain reliever, fever reducer. Doxymothormin, 10 milligrams, cough suppressant. Okay, that's what it is. And then the phenylephrine HCI is decongestant. And sometimes that's worse instead of better when you take a decongestant. Most of them, they all have decongestants in them, though, of these kind of things. And then, seems like I'm missing something. Then inactive ingredients. It seems as though there's a missing ingredient, but I saw it on the box. I saw the normal 4 ingredients on the box. Oh, you got to be looking at date. That was daytime. And then there's night. I can't find the word night down there, but I can find it by doing this. There, night. Acetaminophen, chlorphenamine, 2 milligrams. That's really low. And a histamine, and then cough suppressant. So that's the one that in the daytime anyway, that's the one I like the best. That other one, Comtrex, I actually like for night. It seems to work pretty good. I've noticed that really, well, like I said, I do usually have to get up and take another one after. Usually I take one when I go to bed, or I've already taken one. Maybe I've already taken one of these equates. I still have a few of those before an hour or so, two before I go to bed, and then then I'll wake up and have to take another one usually. But it has
I believe it has. Let's see that it has the same thing. Now we have to find night. Let's see. Day, night. Okay, acetylphenamine, chlorphenamine. I'm like the Stooges. If you acetylphenamine, if you ever seen the Three Stooges, you got to see the episodes where they're doctors. And histamine, dextromethorphan, and phenylphyllephrine. And that's actually this. I think it's the same exact amounts too, isn't it? So, so okay. Yeah, but see, that's still a whole same amount, same ingredients, $3.83 or $7. So I don't get these unless I have to, unless I can't get these. But well, I didn't expect the video to help me find. And so yeah, these are the things I was wondering about. I guess it is still the same price. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, they're $2.19 each. That's the light switches I kept showing. And so, and I ended up paying. Yeah, you don't see. Yeah, there you go. $4.38 for two of them. But that's still cheaper, and I could have ordered them for Lowe's. Now, if I went down there, well, I'd have paid pretty close to about the same. Well, $4.38 driving down there and back. No, I couldn't have saved a dime. Unless I would, well, right now I guess if I wouldn't be able to drive my truck because the carburetor's in the garage waiting on me to rebuild it. But I'd have to drive Mom's car, which gets better mileage than that. But those supposed to be here anywhere between this is I guess coming straight from China, slow boat from China. So it's going to be 17th to the December 17th to January the 9th. I already got those. They're fine except for that little message. I would have liked if they. Those other ones that I almost ordered, they probably haven't. If you're going to go long, like 10 foot, if you're going to go over 3 foot really on a cable like this, you need larger wire. You need, and then it will carry the voltage without the droppage. But this cheap stuff, they don't do that, you know. So, yeah, that's something you really need to watch out for if you're going to get longer cables for whatever it is, you know. Number one, if the cable is most cable is copper, most wiring is copper. If it's not solid copper, and I don't mean a solid, it could be stranded copper wire, but the strands need to be solid copper, not coated in copper. I like to read about wiring. I've worked installing wiring and stuff over the years, back and forth, plus doing sound all those years. And wiring, one of the biggest things is counterfeiting the wire, basically saying it's the real thing, saying it's rated, got the ratings and all this, that it's solid copper core wire, but it's not. It's coated. It wears off, and inside is probably aluminum. Maybe something even worse. Aluminum's not a bad wire. It got a bad rep in the 70s when they put it in mobile homes, and what was happening was it's lighter. It was cheaper. The price of aluminum and copper, I guess they kind of go back and forth, but it was cheaper back in the 70s, but it caused fires and burned down some mobile homes and killed some people. And the reason it happened wasn't because the wire was faulty, is because they connected it to metal screws. Now see, these look coated, but they were just steel. Used to you would see they're just coated. They're not solid brass or copper. I guarantee you that. But you would always see your plugs and your wire switches. They would be steel plates and steel screws. And copper and steel interact. They corrode. They get oxidation quickly.
and so that raises the resistance in the wire, and it would raise the heat in that and that happens more with aluminum quicker with aluminum than it does with copper and steel. So the heat would raise in the wire to the point that it would cause fires. You know, it would catch something flammable on fire, and that was the big problem. And it's still something that manufacturers do today. This is the thing with what they call counterfeit cable in the cable industry. It will be coated with copper or something, maybe not copper, maybe something else, but it'll be a copper color. And you can tell by just cutting into it and looking at the end of it, you know, or scraping it. If you scrape it and it suddenly turns silver instead of copper colored, it's coated. So, of course, it's too late. You've already bought it unless you can take it back. But if it's something that in your telecommunications and your computer stuff, you know, all that's low voltage DC. It's probably not going to. Well, I'm not an electrician, so I'm not going to say. I don't think it's going to be dangerous like AC, but well, there's a whole other thing about when you get a short in DC. It will catch. It will melt every inch of that wire from beginning to end in milliseconds. I've seen it happen many times. Not many times, but enough times. So DC can actually fool you into thinking that it's safer when in certain conditions it can be just as or more dangerous than AC. That's why there was such a big debate back in the early 1900s on which way homes and businesses should be wired. There is two sides to that coin. But anyway, what I was getting, I got off into all that stuff. What I was talking about is just for your with your DC and say your whether it's digital or analog data going down it, you know, whether it's sound or a USB cable is carrying power to charge, it's carrying, you lose a voltage drop on a longer cable. If it's not solid core cable, then it's not gonna. You got another problem with even more voltage drop, and they could get hot. Now mine aren't hot or anything, but and I don't know. I mean, you have to cut the thing open to see if it was. You can't see the ends of the cables in those things. You know, you just have to look at the. All you can do with most of this stuff is look at the reviews and see if I see a review where something melted down, burned itself up. I don't buy that. I don't care if it's got 20,000 sales at 4.5 stars. If I see 2 of them that burned up, I don't want it. And that's because I know enough about how dangerous stuff can be, because I've worked with this kind of stuff my whole life. So on and off, you know, well, not being a tradesman, not a, you know, engineer or anything like that. But there's so many reasons why this stuff can be problematic or work and not work. Anyway, it all runs through my head while I'm thinking about this. So there we go. That's the stuff I bought recently. I won't go any further. Then back to the little keyboard. I didn't show it. I didn't show my hard drive either. I'll show the hard drive. So that's a pretty good. It seems fine. It's not too hard to type on. It's not a complete full set. Well, it doesn't have the number keys. So, and I don't use them much, so it's not a real big deal. But a couple of things are in odd places. The arrow keys are they're in an odd place. They're straight under your enter key, and that's weird. Other than that, I didn't have any trouble typing on it. Just, you know, as soon as I picked it up, so that wasn't too bad. If I had to use it a lot, I don't like jumping between different shapes and sizes of keyboards. It really bothers me. I have trouble with that. But yeah, I'll go ahead and show the since I haven't showed it lately. You see, it's 138 now. I saw it up to. I think one day I swear I saw it at 189. Maybe it was 169 right after, you know, like a couple of days after I bought it. But, and I haven't used it heavily yet. All I did was write a few files to it, and I'm going to reformat it this time because I have a 5 terabyte and it hasn't broke or anything. Well, but the NTFS file system did break twice, or 3 to 4 times, but I didn't remember at the time. I was like, oh my God, I already lost all of these backups that are on here, and some of them I didn't have any other copies of.
And then there was an error message saying, well, you should run, fix disk, check disk, whatever it is for Windows. So I did that and it fixed it. But there's always that time. I've had that. I remembered my days of running, Windows 3.1, 98, and XP. I skipped all the others. Well, I did run 7 in the last 2 years, so. But NTFS is what Microsoft uses for their. Ever since they changed from FAT32, XP they changed to NTFS, and either one of them can break. They're not very. Either one of them's really all that stable. They can break at the drop of a hat. You never know why. It is good with either one of those to run defrag regularly on your system and all that stuff. But actually, in Windows 98, it did it so much that I would have check disk run automatically every so many boots, and that's what Linux does by default. So their file systems can break too, but ext4 is the one they're on now. It was ext2 when I started, then 3, then 4, and they have LVM that they use, logical volume management. But I'd recently discovered that they're actually putting, I didn't even know this, well, this is LVM2. I don't know if they did that in LVM1, but with LVM2 for sure they have what they're using in Fedora is ext4 inside of the LVM. So and I did have my root partition break on my server because of the power going out over and over one night, and that'll break most of them. I don't care what it is, and I wasn't able to fix it. Usually I can fix it with test disk or something like that, but that's why I'm rebuilding my servers and changing to another machine and all that stuff. I wanted a 64. It wasn't a 64-bit machine, that IBM. It was a 32-bit, and I wanted a 64-bit. And I had that NetPromax laying around waiting for me to do something with it, so it's a 64-bit. I had forgot it was. But it's too noisy to run in here, but out in the garage it'll be fine. And I ran that IBM out in the garage for all summer until, a month or two ago when it broke, or when the file system broke. And that's why I decided to buy another hard drive. I want to have, really, I always did try to keep, like the main copy on my regular hard drive and then a backup copy. Well, right now, I have the big it's pretty big, 5 terabyte backup drive. I already got it about half full, I think. So go back to my orders there, and I'll show it too. There's probably half I'm going to say around a third of what's on there doesn't have any other copies. So, I'm at risk of losing them if anything goes wrong. So I thought I need to get a bigger backup drive and try to have, at least 2 copies of every file. So I've got, okay. These are all the drives I've bought from Amazon right here over the years. This is the 8 terabyte. And then I bought this one from Mom's Machine recently when I'm upgrading it. And here's the 5 terabyte. Bought it in 2016, so I think it went out of warranty in the last few months. So what I'm going to do and what's this one? Oh, the 1 terabyte that I bought back in 2010. It still works great. It's in my Red Black BioStar. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to put this 5. I'm going to take this 5. It's out of warranty. And I'm going to reformat this 8 terabyte, leave it in this box because it's still in warranty, but it can reformat it without hurting the warranty. And I'm either going to do ext4 or I'm still going to do some more research. I might do BTRFS, or there's another one that I've been hearing about lately. But I want it to be able to, mount. The only reason I didn't do it before because NTFS will mount in Windows, but any of the Linux file systems won't, or at least not without a special app. So I didn't do it. It worked good, and I didn't do it. But then after at least 4 scares of it going, breaking and me having to fix it, the file system itself, not the hardware. And sometimes it doesn't show up when I boot up the machine, and so I'm beginning to worry. And there's also a real problem with I've done videos on the connectors, and they have these proprietary USB connectors. Thought maybe it would show the end. Doesn't show it well. Well, you can see it there. That connector is not a normal USB connector. It's proprietary. And the problem is with the cable. And what I was just saying about cables, it's not such a bad idea, because that way they know and you know that you don't have some really bad quality cable. You don't just grab any cable and plug it in. You can't. It could burn it up or something. But they made it like a 1/4 inch long, the connector on the that goes into that, what we're looking at here. It falls out the drop of a hat, and now that it's older, and I hardly ever move it, and I don't yak around on the cable and stuff, well, it's, they're worn, and it just falls out. If you just barely bump the cable and you don't even know you ever did it, and it'll come, and it does fall all the way out. It'll just come out. It'll come out just a little bit and not make connection. So it's really scary when your drive doesn't mount up when you boot up the computer. That's what I do. I leave it plugged in, and it mounts when I boot the computer, and then my backups automatically back up to it. But sometimes it's broken, and sometimes it's just the cable. But lately, several times in the last 3 months, at least 3 times in the last 3 months, it has not mounted, and the cable wasn't loose. And so that makes me worry about the whole hardware itself. So I figure it's the interface of this box, and the chips in it and all that, probably not the hard drive. And what I've read is that these hard drives are laptop drives. I've been meaning to go back here. There we go. Okay, that's just one of those questions. Yes, some of the smaller drives used to be powered by the USB. They didn't need any extra power, but these are bigger, and I guess they need more power. So that's, maybe there's not enough. Any of those reviews, you have to maybe if we go to more reviews, we'll see something. Well, anyway, when I first bought this, it was at that time, the reviews constantly change. The most recent ones are at the top here. Well, I guess that's 2015. I think the most favorable reviews are at the top, is what it is. But and I always look at the pictures and see, if something burned up or did anything really bad, you'll usually see pictures of that. People will put up pictures, but and sometimes, people were taking them apart. That's something else I saw. What I'm trying to say is they take them apart, take the actual hard drive out, which is, if I remember right, is a 2.5-inch laptop hard drive, and then they put them in a machine. And I don't think I see any pictures. It looks like it's been taken apart, but unless it's that one. And the earlier ones, they were overheating and the drive was failing, but this model that I have, they're vented. The cases are vented, so they quit having that problem, because that was a big problem with them. So, and this is the 5 terabyte that I have had for 2 years. So it's out of warranty, and I think I'm going to take it out and put it, I may put it in the Lenovo i5, and then it'll have a big enough drive that I can just leave files on there as I make them. Like I say, the ones that I only have one copy of, I can go ahead and copy them back on here. Well, maybe. I've got so many videos now. But and then the 8 terabyte, I may leave it in its case, but just format it Linux file system, not Windows NTFS. And I may leave it in there, and then I can plug it into I don't even have a Windows system except for an XP virtual machine in this Lenovo i5 right now. I'll probably build a Windows 7, excuse me, because XP, I've been getting updates until 2019. Well, that's coming up. So I won't be getting any more updates, so I probably won't want to use XP anymore, except for things that just won't work on anything but XP. I'll still keep my virtual machine, but I might put Windows 7. I might try running. I don't know if this machine could. If I get me a server, this machine I don't think can run Windows 7 very well. It's just too much for it in a virtual machine. It came with Windows 7. It was broken, and I used to dual boot it, but I don't like to do that. I don't like to have to get out of the one I'm using, reboot and get into the other one. Then I don't have all the tools that I'm used to using. So I either want another hardware machine or a virtual machine. So anyway, if I really got down, I could. There's another thing I could do is put one of these. I could put, say, the 5 terabyte. Well, if it's going to be my backup drive, I'd put the 8 terabyte drive in that Acer laptop that I've gotten out a few times recently. Once recently, it doesn't have the hard drive's broke for it. Put it in there and turn it into a backup server. No web server, just a internal network backup server with an 8 terabyte drive. Well, it's really like 7.23 gigabytes. What a ripoff! But the bigger they are, the more you lose in space. The more they lie about the size. It's ridiculous. This one is 4.5 terabytes. I call it 5 terabytes. This one is 7.23 or 28 or something out of named 8 terabyte. But anyway, I could do that, but I kind of hate to do that while it's in warranty in case the drive itself failed or something. But I'll figure all that out as I go. Right now, I'm just going to try to get back to getting my server, which I thought I would do today, but I'm talking about shopping forever. Time's a wasting. But get that server on the net, built on the Net Pro Max, and get it back up and running in the garage, because there's been it's going from freezing weather to 80-degree weather. Some days I've really suffered with this. I'm running the Red Black Ballstar as my backup server right now, and it's right in here. It's not too loud. When it's running, sometimes though it starts, the fans, the normal whir of it's just kind of a deep tone, kind of a, I don't know how to explain it, but it's not too bad. Even when I'm going, when I go to bed, I'm actually on the side where the fan's facing, and I can hear it more. But then sometimes it makes some really squirrely noises, like maybe it doesn't have any bearings. It's got bushings in the fans, I think. I don't think any of the fans have bearings, but maybe one of them does, because it does sound like a bearing acting up. And I actually went through it several months ago, and I figured out that it has a video card. Figured out that its fan was going bad, making horrible noises. I thought it was the CPU fan all along, and it wasn't. It was that. So I replaced it. And actually, I don't think I ended up replacing anything but that. I didn't have anything else any better to put in it, and I didn't want to spend money back. Didn't have any money back a few months ago. So, and now, I bought myself drives and stuff. So now I don't want to spend any more money. I can't really. It's ridiculous. I spent too much already. So, won't have any if I spend it all. So, yeah, you can see I don't buy stuff real often. That's a good history of my purchase history right there. And one thing that I always end up buying is hard drives, because, those are the things that fill up quick. And when somebody gives you a machine that, it's not working right, and then I fix it and make it work again, well, it's usually got a pretty small hard drive. So, and I like to make videos, and sometimes I even work with audio too. So. Used to do that a lot more. I used to record, write, sing. I haven't written much in a long time. Write and sing and record music. So I had friends that would play the music, and I'd do that part, And actually, they had real nice recording stuff that I don't have, and I didn't even have a mixer until recently, and this little bitty mixer. But anyway, I recorded over at their houses and stuff years ago. But it's not anything like the space, needs of video, though. So, anyway, I thought that I really just started doing this video just to show what I ran into, the crazy rip-off stuff I ran into in my shopping, and I got off into. To me, this is actually more interesting. This is actually the weirdest and some of the worst things I've seen over the years in shopping online. And I've been doing it since it was invented. I was a bit late. I was really interested in online shopping because ever since I was a kid, I liked those mail order magazines and stuff. And I used to dream of making my own mail order business. And never did that, but I did make my own website, in about 2002 or something like that. And I sold a pro sound gear, But then Guitar Center, our musician's friend that owned by Guitar Center, came out, and none of us little guys could compete with them. They sell stuff cheaper than we could buy it for, So At about 05, I quit trying. You know, I never made too many sales. I was just looking at some older. I made $3,000 and something in 04 or 05 total. You know, total sales, and that was the most I'd ever done. It was just a lot of work and not any money for me, so I kind of quit trying to do it. You got to do the volume and have you got to have a lot of cash to make some cash, it seems, in most things. Sometimes you get lucky and find something where it doesn't take a huge investment. But anyway, I couldn't keep up with what I had going, and I wasn't making any money, so I quit doing it. But I got this, back to this. On the 23rd, I got this. This is the router, the switch that I got. Now, this is a gigabit switch, just a wired switch. And so I plug this into my D-Link router, and that gives me, it's an 8-port, so one of them has to be the uplink to the router, so that gives you 7 more ports. And that's great because I've got everything. Well, I've got one router plugged into it because it has I think it has an uplink in 4 ports. That's how my routers are. And so it's got 3 or 4 things plugged into it, and then that leaves me with one empty one right now. So. And at some point, I didn't want to go through all those other ones. See, most of my machines are only 100 megabit Ethernet cards anyway, so it doesn't matter. So I didn't want to fill up all the ports on here. And I knew I needed to I planned it. I didn't want to spend a whole lot more money. I don't know if that's what I spent. Oh, I spent $19.99. It still hadn't gone up a lot. When I first started, it was 26, but it's gone down to 19 or 20, and now it's 21 something. And it seemed to have less negatives, plenty of sales, and see, has a pretty good, that's about as good an overall rating as you're going to get, 82% 5 stars and 5% 1. Some of them were DOA, just like everything else you buy these days. And, of course, they're not all about that switch. There's one that's a whole different switch. There's one that's bigger, and there's a bigger one. Even looks older. To me, I guess because it's just kind of dusty, but it looks older than I would expect. But the one main thing realize I need to check out is, do they get, I saw some of the first things I saw were people saying, okay, now there's one that looks like the one I got. I don't know if it's the same model. I forgot the model already. But so basically that's, I don't know what that's about. They're showing their stereo. They're using, I guess it has Ethernet connection. See, that one's a 24 port. So your reviews, let's see, that one's getting 302 download. They got some fast internet, don't they? 12 upload. I got 200 down now, and I usually 10 officially 200 down and 10 up, and I usually get a little over 200 down and around 12 or so up now. At first I didn't, but now that they got it kind of all the bugs worked out, or most of them, I guess. That's a nice setup, isn't it? Got it all wired nice and pretty. Some of them is a big mess like mine, and some of them are real nice and pretty. There's a bigger one. But anyway, that's the other thing about the reviews is Amazon crams all the different products together. I'm not sure if Walmart does that. I think maybe they do sometimes, but not always. They don't get as many reviews as what Amazon does, so I don't know if they do that. I don't think they do that so much, which is that means even though they have less reviews, they may be more accurate to what you need to know for the product you're looking at. So anyway, the other one was, I think, a TP-Link that I was looking at, and I have a TP-Link router. Well, yeah, that's the one I'm going to put in the garage, and it's been fine. It was not as powerful as far as going. It would drop out sometimes in the living room. And that's why and with more and more neighbors getting more and more Wi-Fi devices, it got worse. So I ended up buying that D-Link, and it's supposed to go, and it is more powerful. And no problems in the living room since I got it. It goes to the garage better than it. You just couldn't really get, like after I got my phones, that's when I started realizing just how far you could and couldn't go, because I had the laptops, but I didn't want to carry them around very often, checking. Sometimes I would take them out in the garage and use them. but I would just leave them right there, you know, wherever I was out there in the garage. And oddly enough, the old Linksys DD WGRT whatever, it was stronger signal than any of the others I had, because I got a TrendNet, Linksys. I had the TrendNet first, and then the Linksys. My sister gave me it. It was her. She bought it brand new. She got a new one several years later, and then I got the TP-Link, and I ran them both, the Linksys and the TP-Link. I didn't run the TrendNet because it was crap. It would just completely lose signal. Its wired would drop down to nothing sometimes. Well, the wired actually turned out to be okay. The wireless would drop down to nothing, and you'd be connected to it and not realize it, because I used to set the laptops to connect to the strongest signal, I thought, but I don't know. I think they just connected. I don't know how they did it. Wasn't reliable. So I turned off the TP TrendNet completely, the router, the Wi-Fi router, Wi-Fi radio, and used it as just a wired. And the wired parts has been fine. I thought the wired part was crappy too, but it's not. The Linksys is getting too old. I used it. My sister used it for years, and then I used it for years, and it's just slowly dying. Oddly enough, it's the only one that the hardware is dying, but it is the oldest one. But its top speed is 54 megabits, you know, when it was working right, and 100 on the wired. And then the TP-Link, its top speed on the wireless was, I think, 750 and gigabit on the wired, and then the D-Link is gigabit wired and about 1,200. It's supposed to be a maximum 1,200 megabits. I think it can realistically run about 1,000 megabits, supposedly, on the wireless. And so what I'm going to do is put the TP-Link outside, and first I have to put DDWRT on it so that I can firmware that I can make it into a wireless repeater, put it in the garage like I did with the Linksys. Well, I have a ZoneNet. That was the first one I got. It just barely works now, and I don't know for sure if it's the hardware or the other routers walk on it too much, but it actually came with the wireless repeater function built into it, and I just loved that router. They quit making them. Oh yeah, it really is a pretty robust little machine. That thing survived a lightning. We had a lightning strike quite a few years ago that hit our neighbors saw it. It came down and hit our electric wires coming into our house, and it hit ours and our neighbors. We both lost some electronics. And, well, most of the stuff I had protected, but the modem was not protected. You know, the RF cable. I put a protector in it. It's in the attic. I don't know. I made it longer, and so I used a protector instead of just a coupler. And I guess I can get off this router and show my pretty face or something. I used, instead of just a little connector, male-to-male connector, when the RF cable, I used it's usually used for satellite TV. They're little aluminum can-looking things about so long, and they're male-to-male. And they're just a hardware, you know. I think what they have is like a little switch in there that whenever it gets too hot, it opens up and stops making a connection. Then when it cools down, it goes back. It's what I imagine is in it. I haven't ever found a diagram or anything, but there's no electronics to it. I bought a whole bunch of them on clearance from Parts Express years ago, and I think I still have one or two that I haven't used. But they do protect your TVs and stuff. And we had a TV, didn't have one on it. It got ruined. So we had two. Actually, I guess we had two because we had two. It came through the AC line, not the RF anyway. But not the TV antenna and not the RF cable. You know, it came through the AC wiring because the things that got damaged were all, through the AC port. You could tell that. The AC plug cable. And so we had the regular CRT TVs. That's all we had back then, and but we had those HD converter boxes on them because that was right after that, sometime after that. Two of them got damaged. One got ruined completely, and the other one still worked, but the picture was fuzzy. It damaged it. Then back to the zone, that router, the Wi-Fi router, it was, at that time, the only, that was my router. It got damaged in the strangest way. The Wi-Fi worked perfectly, and the local network worked perfectly after that zap, but it wouldn't get on the internet anymore. And so I ended up buying, I think that might have been when my sister gave me that Linksys. And so then later, years later, I wanted some, I figured out what, and I knew that it had that function of the wireless repeater, and I thought, hey, I can put that in the garage and have internet in the garage, and then I can plug old computers into the wired ports. And sure enough, it worked like a charm once I figured out how to set it up. Left it out there for years, and it got really so slow that, you couldn't play any music. I used to stream music outside and stuff. It wasn't working anymore. And so then I put DDWRT on the Linksys and used it. It only been out there about a year, and it's already about to. And it may be that the heat's killing them too out there. We've had these years of. Let's see, what did we have last year? We had a week of 110 to 112 degrees. I want to say one day we had 115, but I don't think so. But and I set the routers up on the shelf about as high as I can reach, so that they can clear all the junk in the garage to connect up and be a repeater for in here. So it's hotter up there. It's the hottest spot in the garage. Not quite sure what the temperature is. I've never tried to stick a thermometer up there. I think I don't really have one to stick up there. But last summer, I started in a video. I was outside trying. Well, I went out there. It was probably 85 to 90 degrees in the morning. Well, I stayed out until about 3 in the afternoon, out in the garage working on something. And I was trying to make videos of it, and the phones started locking up. They were overheating and locking up. I wasn't streaming. I knew I couldn't do that. I was just trying to make videos on the phones. And then I started realizing, what is the temperature? And it was 111. And the server, I had the server, the IBM out there as my server, and the Linksys router. They both survived. That day and all summer, I didn't start, and everything was fine. And I thought, okay, I'll be good for the winter, unless they get too cold, I thought. Well, what happened was a thunderstorm at night. They turned the power, kicked our electricity on and off over, like really fast. It would go on and off within just a minute. Well, I don't know exactly how long I was asleep, and I kept waking up, and I'd hear everything turning back on here in my room. So anyway, it's 4 or 5 times, and it was a week later before I even thought. I went outside in the garage, and I thought, well, I guess I should check the server. And it was running. All the fans were whirring, but the screen was black, So it turned out it had broken the root file system, and it couldn't fix it. And there's plenty of videos on that on my channel. But I don't know why I've rambled so much. I'd rambled at the beginning, rambled in the middle, rambled in the end, but and I'm coughing and can't hardly talk. So it's kind of silly. But one thing makes me think of another. I start talking about it. So anyway, that's why I have this new gigabit switch. It all does connect together somehow in my head somewhere. And then it's already hooked up and connected up. Made a video of that. And so once I get my server back up and running, I'm just going to hook it up to the Linksys, and then it may keep going on and offline. That's what was going on. And before, I ended up having 3 problems. I think the machine. Well, I was trying to use my old Gateway 500 Pentium 3 as was my backup server, and I think that's about to die. So I had the 2 iffy things: that machine, the Linksys router, cold weather, and finally, one day I thought, well, I can turn on my Fedora 14 system in here. It already has, Apache web server on it and everything, and my whole website was on it already for me. I use it as a test bench is what I always did. I never made it my server because it also has my personal files on it. But I decided to turn it on and use it until I get something get my Net Pro Max back up and get it set up as my new server. But now the Christmas shopping and all that got in the way. But so that's my next step, and probably going to be too late to start working on that now. It's almost 6. Yeah, if I did, I'd step too late, and plus I can't really talk anymore. I mean, I can. Well, I do want to make a video of it when I do it. But I've been making all these videos, and well, I actually ran into some problems I didn't expect with the Fedora 28 and 29 net installer, which is you use the basic, just basic settings. It works fine. I've done it once or twice recently. But if you start selecting extra software, then you get into bugs. And so I think I know how to get around the bugs that I've ran into. I'll try it once, and if that don't work, I'm just going to go ahead and use the regular. I may just use the def. Well, no, I want to use I guess I'll do the basic, the simplest one. Well, I can't always do the basic, like I want XFCE desktop on it. I could do the basic XFCE. Where am I? I'm on me. I thought I was on desktop. So if I can do the basic XFCE. If I want to talk about it, I got to look at it. I can't. I think I've got documents. I'm trying to go to my backup drive here, and got documents instead. Yeah, and it doesn't respond super fast. I don't know, I guess because there's so many files listed in there. Can't hit the right keys. Sometimes I don't have my fingers on my home keys, and I think I do. And I start typing. So I've got, let's go by extensions so I can find the ISOs. I've got MateCompiz Fedora 29 net install, which is, that's for Raspberry. Well, that's for Raspberry Pi. And then the next one is the one going to put on the Net Pro Max. That's the net install. That's the one I was using, and it doesn't even. I found out. I thought, well, crap. I already put 28 on there, but then it was on a 20 gig hard drive, and it was filling up, and I had to change hard drives. So I found out I need bigger hard drive, so I thought, well, I might as well go to 29 because it became officially out. So either one of them has the same problems with the net install, but I did use net install the first time for Fedora 28, and but I did the basic, just clicked on install the server and then collect Apache and whatever, a couple of things. But what I'm trying to do is go around and select different things in different categories. It would make sense if I was showing it, but so anyway, and it lets you do it, but then it goes along and tries to install it, and then it gets close to the end and fails with a silly error that it's just ridiculous. That's why, what fails it. Oh yeah, first I got to go to. Oh, I am okay. There. Well, anyway, I won't go into that. I'm rambling. Nobody's watching anymore. Nobody's going to watch this far into this video. So, it's 2 hours and 4 minutes. So I'll show whenever I do my next video, and I actually do it, I'll show the problem and what hopefully will fix it. And if that doesn't fix it, then I'll just probably go ahead and download the XFCE desktop one, and then use the group installs to install the web servers and stuff. Might be the way I'll do it. We'll see. Or I'll just install the basic web server. Might be better to do that. Use the net install the basic web server, and then use the group installs to install any extra software. That might be what I do. Okay. Well, that's been real. It's been fun, but I don't know if it's been real fun. But anyway, I wanted to show. My whole goal there was to show the shopping stuff that I wanted to share. What if anybody sees the video, if they'll see the parts about things that really I ran into that a lot of people might not notice that don't do online shopping a lot. They could really get them. And at first I thought, well, has Amazon been hacked? What's going on? With the price changing before my eyes. I was worrying for a day or two there. I didn't go back for a day or two. I thought, I wonder if I should even shop there right now, And I kind of thought, well, I better go look up online and see if there's any, big hacks going on that I haven't heard about. So usually if they're super big, they'll get on the TV, and when I go in there to get something to eat, somebody's always got the TV on, and the news will be playing. It's always on, seems like, and you'll hear about at least something about it. But I didn't. I forgot. I had so much going on in my mind. I'd think of things I needed to do, and then I'd forget. Just like that robot vacuum. I thought when I was showing it, I thought, well, maybe I should go look. Well, I didn't want to do it right then, but I still haven't looked up to see what the warranty exactly what the warranty is. And for all I know, there has been times when I've seen stuff for sale somewhere, especially like Parts Express, because they'll sell older things, like buyouts. They'll buy out things from companies and then resell them really cheap, which usually it turns out good. They try not to sell complete crap, or they used to. But so people on Amazon do that all the time. I think Amazon does it too. Maybe I know people on Amazon do it. Anyway, it could be that there is no website for that manufacturer, that they're not even in business anymore. As long as it works, that doesn't matter really. Well, except for the warranty. But usually stuff lasts. Most things that's half decent last as long as the warranty, and then they break after that. I forgot to show. Well, I forgot to show the main features. The other main feature is of that vacuum. There was a picture of it somewhere. Probably it ended up being in I don't want to go through my receipts folder, There might be pictures of that. But what it had, I saw it in the videos for sure. Excuse me. Well, I'll just tell it, and I don't know what I would find to show. In the under those vacuums, there's a hole shaped like this that has the vacuum pulls stuff through. Well, some of them just have a hole, and it's actually not as big as I'm holding up my fingers there. It's more smaller. And, well, since it has those two brushes on the front that throw stuff towards the hole, that's how it picks it up. But this one and some of the others have a little bit bigger hole, and it has a brush in it like a regular, push vacuum or something, and which will beat the carpet and knock the dust loose and help it pick it up. The only downside is it'll also wrap hair around it, and I was going to say when I was talking about cleaning it, the downside of that brush is it's going to get wrapped up with hair and stuff, and string, whatever. You're going to have to be cleaning it. But a vacuum without a brush on it, to me, is useless on a carpet. We have mostly carpet in this house, so that's the reason why I got that pink one. It had all the features that I liked out of the more expensive ones, but at a much lower price. And some of the features are missing, like the dock and stuff like that. And it doesn't have one feature that would be important to some people that it does not have is it doesn't have drop. They call it drop avoidance or something like that. It has sensors on it, and if it senses there's a ledge, like say if you've got a 2-story house and it gets close to the stairs, and it senses it's a drop off, then it'll stop and back up and turn. This one won't do that. It tells you that on its description. I didn't happen to run into that or didn't see it. But we don't have a 2-story house, and we don't have any place in this house where it's going to drop off. So I thought, well, that's not a problem for us. So why pay for a feature you don't need? And the thing is all the other brands, I wasn't going to spend $300 and up for it. And the ones that are $250, they had, and with or without other features,
they had just as many DOAs or failures after a couple of months. Each and every brand did. And that's the thing when you're buying almost everything. If it seems to have good specs, this is what I'm boiling it down to now. If it seems to have good specs, and in this case it only had two reviews, but they were both with videos, so that meant a lot to me. I could see what I was getting. So normally I would not want to, really anything under. It depends on what it is. If it's a $10 item. But if it's something that's $100 and more, then I want to have at least 75 reviews, 50 reviews minimum usually. But sometimes I fudge on that, like I just did. But it was because of the specs and the videos that I saw on it. And now, hopefully I didn't mess up. Of course, if it comes broken or breaks within a quick time, then I can send it back. Now, if I didn't check, I really did mess up by not checking for sure on the warranty. If it doesn't have if it breaks after 30 days or 90 days and has no decent warranty, then I'll be out $122 unless I can fix it. But I don't like having to fix things that quickly. If something's old, I don't mind trying to fix it. But if it's new, it pisses me off, I'm definitely going to send it back. But anyway, I did take a risk on it. But you take a risk with everything you buy. That's what I was trying to say. I don't care what it is. If it's got a moving part, I don't care if it's electronic, mechanical. If it's a freaking toothpick, you notice that toothpicks, I don't use them much, but my mom and brother does constantly. And, sometimes I will pick one up. I don't remember why, but I remember, I wanted a toothpick to, dig something not in my teeth. Well, maybe it was for my teeth. Maybe I had something stuck in my teeth. Get one, stick it in there, it breaks in half. Get another one, stick it in there, it breaks in half. I like 3 in a row. I never saw toothpicks do that before years ago. I used to use them more back when I was younger for some reason. But now I usually, if I feel like I got something in my teeth, I just go brush my teeth and floss is what I usually do. That's the thing. And that's another thing is I like those floss sticks because it's so much easier to use than trying to wrap that floss around your fingers and all that. And I had a heck of a time finding brands that didn't just break and leave the string in your teeth. I don't care what it is you buy. Quality is the biggest concern these days for me, and for I think most people probably. So that's why I wanted to share quality and getting ripped off. It's just, I guess people that are 20 and under, or 25 and under, maybe even 30 and under, don't realize how much better it used to be. But if you're old like me, I'm 62 now. You could go by brands. You knew a good brand, you could always go. You could stick with that brand, or you could hear from a couple of friends, "Oh, this is good," and you get it, and it'd be good. And I didn't ever. Things lasted lifetimes, and people would buy new stuff because they just got tired of looking at it. Like your old appliances and kitchen appliances and stuff. All my grandmas and mom and everybody had all kinds of stuff up in their cabinets that they didn't want to throw it away because it still worked like brand new. But they just got tired of it and they wanted something different. They want something to look better, something a different style. And heck, now everybody just wants something that'll work past a couple, a year or 2 or 3. So anyway, that's why I like to see. I watch videos about products before I buy them. Now it takes so much time to research this crap, but if you don't, especially if you're going to spend some money on it, you're going to be sorry. You can't go by a brand, company, seller, anything. So the only thing you can go by, and it's still not that good because of the people getting stuff for free to get, of course they're going to try to give good reviews, so they'll keep getting the stuff for free. Most of them. And then there's actually people, I've known about it for years. I suppose everybody, I don't know if everybody knows about this or not, but there's actually people that have been hiring themselves out to write good reviews for whatever product you want
for years. It's frowned upon, but people do it, and there's no laws against it that I know I've ever heard of. So in America, so most companies, I think, like companies that are trying to have a good customer relations, like Amazon and Walmart, I don't think they out and out hire reviewers. A lot of companies were doing it at first, and it got a lot of bad press on the press and on the internet, back a few years ago. Now, I don't think they do that so much because it really bites them in the butt. People find out. It's easy to figure out that they're doing that, The reviews are... I remember seeing websites that would just articles after articles showing you, and I figured it out by reading them. Well, my gosh, this person is so full of crap. They've got to be getting paid to write this. And at first I just thought they were getting the products for free, but I found out they were actually getting paid to write the reviews. And I found websites where people saying, I will write you shining reviews for, so much money or whatever. And they were good writers too. But most of them, it sounded like BS. And it's easy to identify. But they got better and better at it. And then some of the ones that... people have gotten so good at making videos these days and being announcers and everything that they can be really tricky. It's hard to tell sometimes with these, free product reviews. They got the product for free and they're making in return for making a review. It's hard to tell whenever sometimes until you get down to the end of the review or the end of the video where they say, "Oh, I did get this for free." Sometimes I've been, "Oh, really? I didn't." They were so good at it. And then I'm thinking, okay, so what did they say, and do I believe it or not now? And I also know this because I haven't done it with normal products, but with there's a website, electronics. There was a website called element14.com that is they sell electronics and cables and all kinds of stuff like that. And when I first discovered it, I don't know if that's why, but anyway, I discovered it, and they were doing a program where they called it road tests, and they would give you a free product in return for your review, and you didn't have to make a video or anything, especially at the beginning. They didn't even mention videos, and that's all they ask, and it would be given to you shipped to you from the supplier, whoever it was, like for instance, Texas Instruments. I got an MSP 430, it's an experimental board, and a couple other things. Well, I actually have 3 of those, I guess. One of them is a wireless kit, and with 2 MSP 430s and 2 wireless, because you have to have a send and receive, And then the other one was just an MSP 430. And then I got a little baby wireless keyboard and stuff from I thought, okay, Raspberry Pi was a single board computer that I was interested in when it first came out. And I thought, well, do I want to buy one for $35? Let's see. No. Oh, yeah. They were $35 back then. Excuse me. I'm even forgetting to move from the mic. I thought, well, if I get this road test, if I get picked, I'll buy the board. And so I did. And I got a wireless keyboard and SD card, I think it was. Yeah, it was a kit. And cable and stuff. I had to buy the Raspberry Pi and the power supply for myself in order to do that review. So I did, and at that time I made a bunch of videos and everything, just because I wanted to. And it ended up taking a lot of time, of course, to do it right. And there was something else I did. I did 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 reviews. I can't think what the 4th one would have been. Anyway, and you have a deadline, and you're supposed to finish it by a certain time and all that stuff. And this is a little different than what they do on Amazon and all that. Quite a bit different because, anyway, I'll go into that in a second. But I was painstakingly honest, and I was afraid they would never pick me again because if I didn't like it, I told it, And there's a lot of people that will do that, and I appreciate people like that. And and I'm not an electronics engineer it's not my trade or anything, but I've always been interested in it, and I've been trying to learn about it for years now. And so anyway, I put in my application that
you know, I can write the beginners. I called it the beginner's guide to the whichever one it was. I forget which one I did that on. I think it's MSP 430. But anyway, and you know, some people commented on my reviews and said, "Hey, I like your review," and they liked my you know, I'm pretty good. I've always been fairly good at writing, so they like my writing and stuff. And I didn't do any videos on those. And then I didn't apply real often because it takes a lot of extra time, you know, to do that. And I didn't want, and it kind of gets, I don't care. You think you got plenty of time, and then you look up and you got a week to finish it, you know, and you get in a crunch. And I finished them all. Now their problem was people were they were getting the product and then not writing the review at all. And so they had to get more strict on it and everything. And then as people discovered the program, more and more better qualified people started applying. So I didn't apply for about a couple of years again. And the next time I applied, they did pick me as one of, they had like, they'd pick 20 people, and then they weed down to 4 out of that. Well, I got picked in the first run and didn't get picked in the second run. So it's kind of good probably because I don't think I would have been at it. I would have ended up probably not having time to do it. But and some of the really cool stuff I didn't get picked at all, like expensive oscilloscopes. What I didn't know, though, I found out this last time. There was something I didn't ever realize. People were commenting about it. You don't pay for the product, and you're not supposed to pay for the shipping. Now, in some other countries, you'll end up getting a shipping bill and stuff, and they were having all kinds of trouble with that, depending on how it was written out on the shipping. But with the thing that costs like $400, and I forget what the price is here in America, but say things that cost $400, oscilloscopes and things like that, that the list price is, they, instead of them writing it in the company was writing it in their taxes as payment for that review instead of as a gift. Well, most people thought of it as a gift. And so then they send you a 1099 and you have to pay taxes on the darn thing. And it could be $200 or something, you know. And so if you did a bunch of those reviews, you're going to end up owing a bunch of money in taxes at the end of the year here in America. So anyway, the reviewing products is a big deal these days, and I've done some of it. And I did it in what I would consider a much more up and up way. You know, it wasn't like those ones where, you know, people are just persuaded to write shining reviews so they can get the stuff for free, which goes on a lot, obviously. You can tell by the reviews and the videos they make on Amazon, especially, and or just in YouTube in general. You know, a lot of people will make YouTube video. I've done it, make video reviews just because people want to see it. And a lot of people that have channels that are popular do it because it gets them a lot of hits and they make advertising money off of it. You know, I do it. I know I'm not going to get a lot of views, and I do it just to try to help people. You know, and actually, it's funny because of all the things that I think are so much more interesting that I've done videos on, I've gotten comments on my review videos and more views on them. But I don't. Sometimes it's a year or two later too, but I don't buy a lot of stuff, so I don't. And sometimes I just don't have time to make a review. I never knew exactly how the Amazon review system worked until they actually invited me one time. And I didn't want to do it when I realized, I thought, well, that'd be cool to get some free stuff here and there. But you have to buy it with PayPal specifically. Now, I got a PayPal account. I got it years ago and ended up never using it because eBay bought it out, and I can't stand eBay. I used to sell on eBay, and I'll just say I don't like eBay. And so I don't really trust PayPal. And if you read their terms of service, you might want to think twice. They can take money straight out of your bank account, and if they say it goes, it goes.
if there's any disputes at all, it don't matter if you're right or wrong. It's what they decide. That's what I'm trying to say. So, and I didn't have any trouble. I never bought anything. Let's see, I might have bought something once with PayPal, maybe twice, but I didn't ever sell anything. Back when I did it, it was early on, and I was selling sound gear when the reason I did it is a way to do credit card processing, and nobody knew what it was, and they didn't trust it, and they didn't want to use it, and so I ended up getting real credit card processing and paying like $65 a month for a year or two, until I decided that was crazy. That last year I was talking about, I paid. I was looking at my detailed itemized stuff. I think I paid $800 or $1,000 that year for credit card processing, and only made 3,000 and some odd sales. It's just ridiculous, That's the other thing I forgot to mention. So anyway, just to have the service there, not any just a very few transactions. Most of my customers called me up on the phone and then mailed me a check, because this was early on in the internet. You could still do that. You could still take a check. And what I told them is, okay, when I get the check and I put it in the bank and it clears, then I'll mail it out. And that's what I did. And they're like, okay. So if they were cool with that, that's all right. You still have like 2 weeks before that check could bounce on you. But usually once it clears, most of the time, it would be all right. But people don't, like, internet companies don't generally take checks anymore at all, but some of us did back in the early days. So anyway, Amazon, you have to buy it yourself using PayPal, no less. You can't just use a regular credit card, and then they refund you on PayPal. And I guess that's a way for them to save, because it is cheaper. Processing fees for PayPal are a little cheaper than credit card processing. Plus, there may not be, like when you refund on a credit card, there's usually, because there's something wrong with the product, and that I think it charges, from what I remember, there's an extra fee involved in that. And PayPal may not, I'm not sure, may not be as high. That's the only thing I can figure out why they would. A company that uses credit cards for all their transactions, like Amazon, would use PayPal for that program. But of course, you could end up with that. I'm sure it works because people do it all the time. But I thought, well, I don't want to get into all that. Plus, I didn't have time to write articles, and it takes me forever to write something because I have to do it right. I have to do it till I'm satisfied. So something that's like real short take me 4 hours, or a day. If it's very long, if it's really long, it's going to take a couple of days or more. Then I wouldn't feel right if I didn't make video. So then, well, you see how long it takes me to make a video, because now I don't edit videos anymore. I don't even try. I just make live videos. And this is how long it generally does. Well, yeah, my live videos are about as long as any video I ever made was. It's just that I would edit them before, And you won't see too many of my edited videos, because I had all my raw videos on my computers and my drives for years and years, and I never got around to editing them because I had just I don't know, it just wears me out to do it. Listening to myself over and over, it's enough to listen to myself like this. So, you too, huh? Okay, all right, be like that. So, anyway, it's kind of funny. I'll say one more little blurb, and then I'll quit jabbering. All the different styles and types of videos that people do. It's just really interesting and amazing what different people like. And, if you look on something, you'll see, oh, you may like this. I'll watch a lot of those videos on YouTube. You may also like, and if it looks like the thumbnail's interesting and the title looks interesting, I'll check into it. And I got sidetracked on something I'd never. The reason was the subject. It was comparison between a $12,000 microphone and it said the cheapest mic on Amazon or something. What it turned out to be is one I actually have seen before and put in my little watch and save and compare list, because it's about $20 and it's a condenser mic, and it did have good reviews. And I thought, could that thing really be worth buying? And one reason I did is because this lapel mic that's behind the SM58 there, it really doesn't sound too bad for $10. The electronic technology in many ways has come really far. And so I watched this video, the young guy's video. He's a Swiss guy in Switzerland, but he spoke English really well and wasn't hard to understand at all. Actually, he turned out to be a singer, and he was a good singer. Not he's a pop singer, really, but anyway, he's kind of crazy in a funny style, different than stuff I ever watched. But it was funny and kind of fun to watch. And but his comparison was all right. It wasn't BS like a lot of it. And he knew being that he's a singer and actually a recording artist, I would say, and a videographer, and he's been to school for this stuff too. He knows what he's doing. So he knew how to compare them. Me being a sound guy for years, when he compared them, I realized, okay, he's really comparing them in a good way that make sense. And so they're giving you good results, a good true comparison. So I watched that, and then the next thing I know, well, I watched this and I ended up watching like 5 of his videos, and I enjoyed the ones I watched. And a couple of them were kind of, he has a silly sense of humor, and I was just like, okay, it's fun for young people, I imagine, but of course, we had our own silly sense of humor when we were young, and we still do, but of course, people are like, what? But most likely, I'm sure, like the young people, they hear us use our jokes or whatever. Anyway, he would jump back and forth from one subject to the other. I do that all the time too, don't I? But he does it in a young kid way instead of an old man way. So I was like, what was he talking about? But it was his jokes he was throwing in there, and clips. Little animated things. They were really terrible animations, like stickman animations. I don't know why that's popular, but it was cute. That's all it was. It was cute and silly. But between all that, he actually had some good, to me, good content. But he's evidently, I didn't even look and see what his stats were or anything, but I gathered that he had a pretty popular channel. Generally because, when you do get, you may want to watch this, it's almost always a popular channel. Once in a while, you'll see a video. There's one good thing about YouTube. I don't know how they do it now. They've changed. People are always talking about that. Other videographers are talking about how they're changing how they present stuff to people, but they're still not really bad about. They present stuff that is really related to what you've been watching. And what they used to do, like if I watched 3 videos on electronics, then that's all they would want to show me for a week. Well, I got sick of that because my interest changed from hour to hour. I might watch an hour of something, and then I want to see something woodworking, or I want to see airplanes, or or whatever. Something might seem completely different, but it's not to me. It's the stuff I like. And so they're pretty good. I guess over time, maybe I will have 3 in my, you may also like, list of electronics, something close to what I just watched, and then then I'll see another one of woodworking, because over the years I've watched a lot of woodworking videos, and then another one will be on vans. I like vans, camping stuff like that. So anyway, I had been looking at some stuff on electronics, and that's somehow that. Never seen that kid before in all these years on YouTube, and he's been on YouTube since he's a young man, but he's been on YouTube since he was 15 years old, and one of his videos is my story from the last 15 years of singing, and turned out he'd been on YouTube for all these years, singing and recording and stuff. And he went, and like I said, he went to school and all that stuff. That was interesting. The way he told the story was, to me, very odd, because I guess it was entertaining if you like stickman animation, but it's a stickman with his real face on it, and he's a good storyteller, but that was weird to me. It was distracting to me. But I've seen that. Generally, you see that stuff in advertisements. That's what was really odd to me. Generally, you see the stick man drawings in everything. Yeah, nothing more odd than that right there, huh? It's stickman advertisements and Google how-to videos, and that just irritate me so much. I won't watch them. I'll just like quit the silliness and just tell me what I need to know, you know. But this guy's whole thing was telling his life story, kind of his you know, from 15 till 20 something, and being entertaining. So it was fine. But anyway, and they did do a good job of it. But I don't know why I'm going on about it. I was just what I was saying. It's just pretty neat how varied and different things can be interesting in a different way. I like making videos since my grandmother was a big videographer and photographer. She was born in 1900. And I don't know exactly when she got into photography and stuff. When she was 20 years old, she'd already graduated college and became a school teacher. She taught school all her life. But I knew her as my mama, and she loved to make pictures, and she loved to make 8mm movies. They were all silent movies. And I learned how to do that stuff from her. And she bought me cameras for birthdays and Christmas and stuff like that. And so I had cameras. I had Kodak cameras. Kodak was a good brand back then. Well, I mean, it still is, but I didn't know anything about any Nikon or anything like that. And or Minolta. I remember Minolta from when I was very young. I remember that's what the real photographer said. But she had a Brownie 8mm movie camera, Bell and Howell, and a projector. We'd watch home movies ever since. She had home movies of us ever since we were born. All of us kids and cousins and everybody. And so I fell in love with all that stuff. And so as she got older, she really couldn't do it as much anymore. And when I was about 17, she gave me her projector and her video camera. And by that time, it was already an old, you know, silent. And there was 8mm was still the thing, and 16mm. But it was film cameras. But there was sound on most of them had sound. But I used the one she gave me. Made some movies, and then when my kids were growing up, I made some movies, but not real often because the film was really expensive by that time, and they didn't have sound. And I always thought I would put sound to them one day, and I was always trying to figure out a way to do it. I was really into recording on reel-to-reel cassette decks and stuff like that, and then as cassettes came out, reel-to-reel recorders, I had one ever since I was like 8, and then when cassettes came out, I got a Radio Shack a cassette deck, on and on, you know. And then as the home component units came out, I got them, and I had a Tascam and a TIAC. Yeah, I had a TIAC, and I wore it out, and now I've got another TIAC, a dual deck, cassette deck, and I just bought it about 10 or so 15 years ago, and it's just like new because I hardly ever use it, but it's great to have when you need a cassette deck. And it doesn't have a mic input, though. And all the other ones, they always used to have mic inputs. And so anyway, I never have digitized any of that stuff or done any of that, adding audio or any of that yet. Now I know how to do it. I actually worked in a place for a while back in the 90s that was called U-Edit Video, and this was VHS tape was the thing then, and people would bring in their tapes and edit, and you had editors, and they would edit their videos, and we'd help them sometimes. We would edit them for them if they paid us, but hardly anybody wanted to do that. It was kind of expensive. But I forgot my point. But anyway, I learned more working there. And like I said earlier in the evening, I did sound for over 12 years for bands. I worked at a local TV station in Dallas, a small TV station, as a master control operator. I would actually take the tape, put them in a player, and hit play, and then watch the volume, make sure it wasn't too loud or too soft.
and play the in between the program. They would last 30 minutes to an hour usually, and then in between the programs there would be commercials, and I would have to put in an actual. It was either a 3/4 inch tape or we actually used. It was a small station. They actually used SVHS, Super VHS tapes. That's what they recorded there. They did live shows and recorded them, and then they'd play them back again later. Like on the, actually, I worked the weekend shift, so I was always playing back their weekly shows during the night on the weekends. I worked midnight to 8 or so, and I enjoyed that. Enjoyed learning about that stuff. And this was actually in the transmitter tower. You crawl up about 2 stories on stairs, and they had a whole room with all this stuff in it. And then the tower went on up, and the transmitter was in that room. That was the transmitter room, I guess you'd call it. And had a couple of racks. I've showed my rack before. They were about like these racks here. This rack here, it's a computer rack. But anyway, there were AV racks. They were probably 19-inch racks, I'm pretty sure. This is a 20-something inch rack here. But this is out of a telco, and those were audio, audio-video racks. But anyway, it didn't pay nothing, hardly at all, but I enjoyed it. And same thing with the U-Edit video thing. And I forgot my point to that, but it was fun and interesting. Other than dealing with the public, I've never been too. There's always crappy people. First, when I was young, I learned real quick I didn't like dealing with the public. The first job was in machine shop, and then I got a job in a car wash. And I had to deal with public all day, every day, and then weekends too. And I got to where I could stand dealing with the public. But in that company, I learned they trained me to work on building maintenance, work on the car washes, the gas stations. We still had full service gas stations back in. This was in 1975 to 77 or something like that. 78. So, last story time. I'll stop there. Okay. I don't know why I'm still talking. I said that I don't know how many times. So, recapping anything, I have no idea how I got so many different directions. And I told myself I was going to do a short little video about shopping, and then I was going straight to work on that NetPro Max. Well, I've done a 2-hour and 42-minute video and counting, and it's too late to start on the NetPro Max because I don't want to stay up all night and mess up my schedule. I've been doing last couple of weeks I've been doing really good about going to bed early and getting up at 6 or 7, 8. Lately, last couple of days it's been 8. One day it was 10, but the day was about 8, 8:30. No, I don't want to screw that up. I like that. Sure feels better than being up all night and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and go now. And I guess that's enough of me rambling about shopping and everything else in the world. So, see you later. Bye-bye.